People like, what?
Red 10 standing by.
Red 7 standing by.
Red 3 standing by.
Red 6 standing by.
Red 9 standing by.
Red 2 standing by.
Red 11 standing by.
Red 5 standing by.
You are a cook. Not you, Kyle. Kyle's not a cook. Buenos dias. I am late, live from Las Vegas, Nevada, not Los Angeles, California. From Red One Studios, we're back. Yes, why you're a cuck today. You know who I'm talking about. And no, it's not Destiny. Although he is a cuck today. We are live from Las Vegas, Nevada. This is the Rational Male. Yes, we're talking about your favorite. It's going to be a little touchy subject today. I'm going to ruffle some feathers. I'm going to rustle some jimmies today. But before we do, here's some.
Confirm with your wife that she wants to be valued and she has boundaries that she wants respected. When she says yes, tell her that that actually describes property, and you have no problem treating her like your property. And I think we can all agree there's all types of women, just like there's all types of property. You got the women that are on the Ozempic, always out getting Botox. That's a fixer-upper. You got the women that have been with a ton of guys, passed around. That's a timeshare. Next, you got the women that wouldn't date you in high school. They're divorced now, not in the best shape anymore, but they're open to dating you now. That's a foreclosure. You got the women that have 3 kids by 4 baby daddies. All their exes cheated on them and were broke. Now they want a good man with a good job. Yeah, this woman's trying to get gentrified. Then you got the women that have been on the market forever, can't find a buyer. That's because they got a mansion attitude and a mobile home body. I'm just joking. Women are nothing like property, because over time, the value of property actually increases. Follow for more like this.
Women now at the age of 30 have no children, half. And half of them will never have a child. And 90% of them will regret it. So that's involuntary childlessness.
How do we know they'll regret it?
Because they're...
Where are you getting these stats is what I'd like to know. Like, how come Bill Maher's not like, bro, where's the stats, my friend? Oh, wait, hold on. Put me in right quick. There we go. Make sure that I'm next. I'm on this real quick. Okay, well, for this one, because...
There's enough data now to show what happens.
Like, at what age do they regret it?
Right.
Well, they start to regret it generally around 30.
30?
Well, because by the time you're 30, 1 couple in 3 has trouble conceiving. And that's defined as trying for a year with no success. So already at 30...
Well, let's get that couple help.
There's lots of technologies to help, but they're not that helpful and they're very expensive.
Yeah, it's called freezing your eggs.
This movement is one of the biggest reasons for the marriage rate, the divorce rate these days. Yes, because women have become so masculine. A woman gets in her masculine energy. A lot of times she'll be disrespectful to her husband. And men don't do well with disrespect.
Feminine energy. I'll get in my masculine feminine energy. Thank you, Carl Jung. Thank you one more time for that legacy.
You know, there's surveys that say that 80% of men say they would rather be alone and unloved than to be disrespected. And see, the feminist movement has taken it so far over the years to, it's not just equal rights anymore. Now it's men are being diminished and devalued and demoralized. What do we need men for? We don't need men. We can buy our own cars and we can vote. We can make our own money, run our own businesses. We can even have babies without men. And that makes men feel awful, you know? And if a man, when in a dating relationship, if a man doesn't feel he has anything to contribute to that woman's life, he's got to move on down the road.
Now, the problem is they can't keep the electrical grid up. They can't keep the sewage system running. They can't keep the cars running. Well, clearly they are working on, I don't know, I-15 out here today. Oh, God, this was good.
Hi babes, I'm Michaela. I'm an influencer, and even though my life looks really great on social media, my mind is completely f***ed. I have OCD, depression, anxiety, and I'm a narcissistic sociopath. I am ready to find love.
What's up guys, my name's Jax. I'm an entrepreneur, aka I'm unemployed. I live in my mom's basement, and I have no idea what I want to do with my life. I'm ready to find love.
I'm Shantae. I'm an actress, which means I'm a waitress who doesn't make any money off her career. I'm the most toxic person I know. I'm ready to find love.
My name's Sergio. I'm a personal trainer because I'm only 5'8", and it's the only way I can get validation from girls because I'm insecure. I'm ready to find love.
My name is Kylie. I'm a professional model, aka I do OnlyFans, and that's because I'm broken inside and have mommy and daddy issues. I am ready to find love.
What's good? My name's Brad, and I'm in finance, which basically means I provide zero value to society. I love and coke, even though I have a small and probably have herpes. I'm ready to find love.
Love Island, the place where no one really finds love.
So there's this new app that came out. It's called the T app. And what this app is designed to do is help weed out predators, serial cheaters, and maybe even married men. The problem with this app is it could be used for bad. Let's say a woman is going to go on a date and she looks her date up. She opens this app up and she gets all this information about this guy. She could submit a complaint anonymously towards this app, accusing him of something he might not have done, or to slander his name. As you can see, this is all bad. With this app, she can go look up his number, which his address will also be shown. This can be used for stalking. We already have an issue with sites called Are We Dating the Same Man? These have went bad. It was supposed to originally be designed to protect women. Unfortunately, sites like this have turned into gossip sites that end up trashing the very men that they want to date in the dating pool. Now, currently, men are building an app to do the same thing. What could go wrong? This is all bad. We could just imagine how bad this is.
You know, what's funny is like, I've seen these stories. Hell, I even seen this on like Netflix specials and stuff, like on CSI kind of stuff, where like a fraternity has like their black book, right? Which is like the Polaroids of all the frat brothers nailing these girls and what like the girls like their reputations and what they do. Oh, she takes an anal, blah blah blah, you know. And I'm not condoning that whatsoever. But the thing is like we do that digitally with chicks, and it's 100% fine. Like it's you want to talk about double standard? Like the thing about I should do a whole show based on just double standards. That would be a rocking show, I think. Yep.
Weird when we see like 35-year-old men who refuse to date anybody who's above the age of 22.
I don't know if there are experiments of this sort, but they'd be easy enough to run. If you're after a one-night stand, then why not have a 22-year-old?
How would you run an experiment like that? That would not be easy to run, dude.
No, that totally.
Well, no, but that's it. That's the whole story.
But if it's a relationship,
yeah, well, then the problems that you just described leap forward.
How old was Michaela when she went and was flown out, I should say, to Romania to visit Mr. Tate? Huh?
Madly, for anyone who has any sense.
I would be concerned that I was being taken advantage of.
Yeah, today you would. At what, 33?
Just from being a 21-year-old. Like, if I meet other 35-year-old guys, I'm like, if you only date young 20s, is it because anybody who's 30 would see through you?
Oh, God. Michaela, never change. Never change, Michaela.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But once you get above like 25, I don't think it makes that much of a difference.
Into women who are really depressed by this finding and really don't like it, right?
Yeah.
Because it is quite upsetting. A lot of people seem to think that men want younger women due to like the ability to control them or things like that.
Oh.
For some men, this probably is the case, but the evidence for that is slightly weak because if you look at men in their very early 20s and late teens, they actually prefer older women. So it seems that there's a peak age.
Or late teens. The only women they could be getting with would be older women at that point.
in terms of looks that men converge on. And that age is, loosely correspondent to peak fertility. So there might be an evolutionary explanation there. But if you think about it, that's just in terms of looks. If you look,
I love how Mackin uses like the graphs he's showing that he just flashes on screen like really quickly, so fast you can't even read them. He's flashing on the dataclysm stuff that I've used for really since 2014, I think. these are stats, and I think they're still valid, but like they're stats about like what age men and women find each other the most attractive. And one thing he's sort of ignoring here is like, well, yeah, it's true. Men tend to find women that are at the age of 22, 23, 24, right around 23 years old is peak fertility. It's peak sexual market value for women across all age demographics for guys. So a guy could be 15 years old and he could be 105 years old. He still finds the 23-year-old the most attractive. Whereas for women, it's usually anywhere between 3 to 7 years older than they are. So like tell the whole truth or don't tell it at all, Mac.
What men actually do, it's not like all men in the world are competing for very young women. A man in his late 30s generally is not going to be interested in someone quite that young.
Most men, like if they're in their mid 30s, they're not trying to.
No, they're interested. They just don't have the opportunity or the ability to get with those. Because I can tell you right now, I know a certain 47-year-old who's getting with 22-year-olds on the regular right now.
I date 22-year-old.
Yeah, very few men actually want that in practice. I'm only 27, and that seems pretty young to me. I can't imagine, 5.
But I'm one of the good guys, so let me pat myself on the back.
10 years from now, speaking to a 22-year-old and thinking, oh, this would be a good life partner for me. So I think the only men who would be interested.
I know very few women between the ages of, say, 22 and 24 who are even looking for a life partner at all whatsoever. So like, I love how there's this presumption of this long-term, like, oh, they're all wise. They're all prudent. They understand what they're getting themselves into. And it's like, no, they don't care at that age, Mac.
In that sort of age gap would be men who really do just put physical attractiveness above everything else. Yep. Or in some cases have the sort of psychology where they want someone who's easier to control, easier to manipulate.
So let me see if I get this straight. You're looking for like guys who are just looking for women who are physically attractive. What guy isn't looking for a chick that isn't physically attractive? What in what world is that not the prime directive? Well, I'm looking for something way more esoteric and ephemeral from women. I just can't find that elusive quality that it just keeps. I just can't find the right chick. Like, no, Mac, they're looking for hot bitches. Okay, I don't care. Like even using the same fucking stats that you just flashed on screen from this book called Dataclysm, which was by the way, like compiled by the guys who run OkCupid.com, which I think is still around. I don't know if it is or not. I know, or maybe it got bought out by Match. I'm not really sure. But the fact of the matter is like, it's like, tell them the truth or don't tell it at all, dude. It's like lies by omission.
Oh! Watch where you're going.
So sorry about that.
Oh, don't be sorry. Yeah, it was totally our fault.
Is it because he's taller than me?
It's not his fault. He couldn't see us from up there because he's so tall. You have no excuse. You're literally eye level with us.
Okay, I'm not that short. I'm taller than both of you.
Yeah, barely. If we're girls, we're allowed to be short. You're a guy. That's literally embarrassing.
Height shouldn't matter that much. He's a really nice guy.
Don't try to make me feel better about only being 5'10". 5'9". 5'8" with shoes on.
So 5'6" without.
Being that tall isn't even impressive, okay? His parents gave him the height. He didn't do shit.
You're sounding real jealous right now.
If I was that tall, I'll be in the NFL. He literally works at Starbucks.
So he can give me a vanilla latte and tall babies? He's literally perfect.
He's not though. He's a jerk and the biggest gaslighter in the world.
That's fine with me. I like a bad boy anyway.
And a cheater. He's cheated on his last 5 girlfriends.
Well, I've always wanted an open relationship anyway.
So you're telling me guys can be the absolute worst to girls just because they're over 6 foot?
Yeah, no girls are attracted to guys that are shorter than them. And if they are, it's because they're too ugly to get a tall king.
So with that being said, do you ladies want to taste my vanilla latte?
Yeah!
First being tall.
I love tall guys!
I have a picture of my physique right here. Basically what you need to know is nowadays in 2025, having a six-pack is almost like a prerequisite. Okay, having a six-pack is pretty much like almost a commodity, right? I remember when I first started in my own fitness journey when I was probably like, like 18, 19 years old, 10, 11 years ago. It wasn't as common for all these guys to be in shape with super shredded physiques. Nowadays, it's so common. Like every gym you go to, there's always a bunch of dudes with abs. Okay, that means the competition in your dating life, it's going to get harder. It's going to get harder for you to stand out. It's going to be harder for you to compete. It's going to be harder for you to look attractive compared to everybody else. You have to put in the work every single day. If you don't put in the work, you don't get results. If you don't stay disciplined, you don't get results. If you don't keep at it, you don't get results. Now, to do this, listen closely. You have to prioritize your own status and your own success every single day. Nothing else matters but your own goals and your own vision. If you start to compromise those goals and you compromise your vision, you're now selling yourself short. Okay? This is why you have to push forward. The material that I make and the stuff that I tell you is not for a weak mind. It is for a mind that's strong. So to help you strengthen your mind at an even deeper.
Turn on the TV. You see women in films reacting stoically, controlling emotions, staying calm in high-pressure situations.
Doing math?
Giving men the false impression that this is somehow what they should be expecting from a woman's personality.
Whether that's Kristen Ritter not wanting to talk about her feelings in Jessica Jones, or Charlize Theron's short, concise, data-driven answers to questions in Mad Max, I don't think these filmmakers realize or care about the harm they are doing by asking women to live up to those unattainable, emotional, and storytelling ideals.
I had a friend come up to me recently complaining that his date took forever to get ready. They missed the previews. Then she started crying as if this is some abnormal event. I had to grab the guy and say, Dave, I don't know what you saw in Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, but this is what a woman looks like without having her personality airbrushed by Hollywood.
That's why I so much appreciate what they are doing on The View.
Yes.
Personality, positivity, showing what a real woman looks like completely unshackled from whether statistics or evidence even remotely lines up with the points they are making.
I want to also applaud the makers of The View for just putting their raw, undesirable personalities out there, flaws and all, so men can see a realistic depiction of what to expect from a woman.
There you go. All right, pushing me back in. Thank you. Welcome. I was trying to get my media assets aligned here. I am late, and we are very late. I apologize for being late. Actually, I shouldn't apologize at all because I was actually on time. But the 15 is closed, which is like one of the main freeways here in Las Vegas. And I had no idea that it was closed. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this video. I'm going to get that video. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Oh, what time is it? Oh, it's noon. I better get going. Yeah, 15's closed. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So anyways, I apologize for that. Thank you for joining us today. We're back in the house in Red One Studios once again. We had who Jamie Lynn was in here not too long ago with Mike. I forget who the doctor guy was who was just on here too. I forget the dude's name. Anyways, if you're a fan of Jamie Lynn and not the porn star, actually, the what do we call her? Influencer. She's been on Access Vegas once or twice, and she's the believe it or not, she is the host of the Pink Pill podcast, and she's had some choice words for me and Mike over the years, but we've always remained friends, even though we kind of like throw rocks at each other. In fact, she's written a book, and she wanted me to help her publish the book, so I've been trying to help her with like Kindle Direct Publishing and all these other stuff. So yeah, no, not the porn star. Thank you. Oh my God. So anyways, geez, do I have announcements to make? I guess I better. We're going to talk about what makes for a cuckold these days. And I don't mean that like people kept asking me about this after I did the show on what defines cuckoldry. Like what's the operative, like what's the end result? And the end result, of course, is guys who are men in particular who are assuming the parental investment responsibilities, provisioning, protection, and parental investment responsibilities of another man's child. Okay. I got to clear the air here really quick because people keep saying, oh, well, so you think that Wes Watson is a cuck? I'm like, well, the end result is the same. Do you think that Andrew Wilson is a cuck? I'm like, well, if you're using it as an invective, no, I don't. But if I'm going to analyze this from like the most objective, observable outcome, then yes, he meets the definition of that anyways. And you can even make the same case for, can we see this? There we go. There it is. I'll put that over here. But I mean, if you look in, there's a really great book. It's by Dr. Tim Burkhead, and it's called Promiscuity. And it really kind of comes back to a lot of the stuff about, like, I'm often asked quite a bit whether or not I think that promiscuity or monogamy is the natural state for human beings. And my answer is yes to both. Both can be true at the same time. And they can also be true at different times in a human being's life. Okay. So I'm going to get into that, and we're going to get a little scientific today. But yes, I am most definitely going to be talking about Dr. Robert Glover's latest foray into, I guess, the manosphere, what he thinks is the manosphere anyways. I had a whole bunch of people hitting me up in my emails saying, hey, you're going to talk about Robert Glover? I'm like, what? Why? Did he say something that I should know about? And they're like, yeah, check this out. I was like, if you're going to come, and by the way, if you're going to hit me up in my DMs, it's not like Get Smart, right? It's not like, like you're not a secret agent. Hey, did you hear about Dr. Robert Glover? Like, just like, can you just like give me the link and I'll look at it, and then I'll decide whether or not I'm going to do something. Yeah, he's most definitely a shit lib, but that's beside the point at this point. You know who else is kind of like, I keep seeing a lot of Dr. Richard Reeves, who I don't have a problem with. I think he's kind of cool, but again, I think he gets the diagnosis right, but the prescription and the cure is wrong. Same thing with a lot of these guys. And what I'm getting at right now is there's a lot of dudes who used to be like, people would consider them part of the red pill. Okay. And this is the sort of, we never knew ye part of their narrative, or they're in that phase right now. Dr. Robert Glover is most definitely in that phase. Some people get to it sooner. Some people get to it later. Richard Reeves, I think, could be an ally at some point, but he hasn't been punched in the face enough yet. And I don't mean physically or whatever. I mean, like, figuratively speaking, he hasn't, like, he's got 2 boys. The minute one of those boys gets false SA accusations against him, that's when he's going to get punched in the face. I'm figuratively punched in the face, right? You want to know why dyed-in-the-wool feminists become a little less vocal about being a feminist? It's because they had boys. And once they're sort of involved and they are invested in the success or the development of their boys, they begin to understand how gynocentrism molds their sort of the thinking and the patterns and the habits and the mindset of their young men, of their sons. And I think a lot of people haven't really reached that level just yet, but we're going to talk about that a little bit today. I definitely I'm going to start with Dr. Robert Glover. We're also going to prove Sadia Khan is a fraud today. I came with receipts today, so just saying. I'm going to get into some other things about cuckoldry and why, like I said, we're going to be dancing on eggshells here today. But we're going to talk a little bit about why, like, cuckold porn is porn. Am I supposed to say that? Is so popular these days as well. And I've got some pretty choice, well, let's just say analysis. I don't have opinions. I have analysis. Here's my research analysis. I thought I'd also drag in a few, like I said, receipts, but they're going to be mostly rooted in Evo Bio and Evo Psych a little bit today. So we'll get into that. But before we do, if you are interested in Reignite, please join up. We would love to have you. It's not just for the old dudes. If you find yourself in a position where you want to rebuild yourself, if you are if you're down in a hole right now and you're trying to figure out things for yourself, then we're probably the group for you. We have a upcoming event. It's going to be October. Well, there will be one in October, actually. But we have one coming up in August. That's the soonest. And no, I am not going to be at the one in the Babes in Toyland in LA on the 19th, because my wedding anniversary is on July 20th, and that'll be my 29th wedding anniversary. Which, by the way, did you know this? That the stone for the 29th wedding anniversary is a garnet. So I might try to find a garnet. Where can I find a garnet? Anyway, so I'll be in Mount Charleston actually once again because we tend to like that place for our anniversaries. And yes, I might post a picture on Instagram, so be aware. I still have medical issues, as you probably already know. I was pretty vocal about that on the last episode, just to let everybody know where I am. I'm not dying. Don't worry. I'm not on dialysis or anything like that. I actually have to go see a gastroenterologist on Tuesday. So we're making progress. I did actually go to Intermountain Health yesterday, which is my private insurance. They're really big in Utah, I guess, but they're like just trying to get a foothold in Nevada right now. And I'm gonna say sometimes you have to catch people doing good. They did good. I was pleased to be at this place. I'd never seen the actual facility for my insurance provider, but they did good. And Dr. Kane, right on. You get an A+ from this guy, and Lord knows I've been to the emergency room and I've been to like 3 different urgent cares. You guys win. So, anyways, yeah. So there you go. The other thing is, I'm happy to answer questions. I'm trying to get certain people on for Access Vegas. I'm going to probably have Coral Osborne will be on Access Vegas, I think, in August. But anyways, getting back to Reignite, we will be doing a Las Vegas meetup for Reignite. You don't have to be a member of Reignite to join this. It's going to be $9.97 for anybody. If you are already part of Reignite, it's part of your membership. So you can join Reignite, or you can pay individually for what we do. And I will guarantee you, I've already done this. Like, we did this in Miami. I had guys coming in from as far away as the UK to just meet up in Miami and hang out, and we have some sit downs and some talks and stuff like that. But that's not what Reignite's about. We are going to be shooting machine guns now. I think they have automatic weapons at this shooting range we're going to go to, but we're going to be learning. We're going to be learning firearms, and if you don't already know, and we're going to just basically have a range day, which is going to be fun because I haven't had a range day since I was in Reno. And then we're going to do Top Golf. That's going to be another thing that we got going on. And and then we have the ATVs. ATVs are we're going to go out to the desert and bring water, because what is it, like 109 right now? It's 118 in my black Camaro. But we're going to be doing ATVs. We're going to take out quads out into the desert and just go tear around for a little bit. I think it might be a tour kind of thing too. But the guy who runs it is a good friend of Joe Marron's. And so we'll be doing that. Those are like the 3 planned events. And then, of course, it's also that we can go to Babes in Toyland on the 14th of August. So from August 12th to August 15th, that's going to be the Reignite sort of meetup, Las Vegas. It's also during swim week. So there'll be the swim week events that are going to be going on at and around Babes in Toyland. I know that there's a fashion kind of like a swimwear walk-off, which is always fun to be a part of. And I think you guys will dig it. It's going to be at the Sahara again. We did this last year, and a lot of my guys will, if you're in the chat, please give us a glowing review. But it's coming up. It's $9.97 per. We're still taking registrations right now. We only take so many, though. I don't think we take more than like 15 or 16 guys. So if you want to get in, now's the time to get in. And that's not including the guys who are already like registered or already part of the group. So if you're wondering how do I get involved in this, just go and click on the registration link that's down below. I think it's the second one down. So there you go. What else do we have? Oh, Access Vegas is coming up. We'll be doing that on Wednesday. I will most definitely be. I was worried I wasn't going to make the last one because I was in the hospital. But we will most definitely be doing Access Vegas. I think even Tiffany Fox is going to join us on that one, and some other notable repeats, I think, will be on that one. I really want to get Jamie Lynn. I wonder if Mike worked out some kind of deal with Jamie Lynn so that we could do that. But anyways, that's coming up. And I want to also make this announcement right now, right here on this show. Access Vegas is now remonetized. Yes, it is. Wait a minute. Oh, see, this thing also, I always have to redo that. I already have to re-up this. Hold on. Is it? Yeah, it's the re-upping. Hold on, I got to re-up my soundboard went dead. There we go.
Guilty, 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 guilty.
There you go. Yes. That's the only one I could find. Yes, we are remonetized on Access Vegas. So I'm going to be pushing that. I'm going to be pushing my channel, and Mike's channel is remonetized as well. Also, I want to point one other thing out, and I want to thank you guys for such a great show last Sunday. I think I ended up making something like $500 or $600 on Super Chats. So something has given way at YouTube, and you were saying you think it's the AI, the limitations on the pre-generated, the videos and stuff like that. That's a possibility, but I went and I hit up as soon as I figured out, hey, maybe something flipped, maybe something gave at YouTube, and then I went and hit up Aaron Clary, because Aaron Clary is on the same watch list that I was on for the NGOs, and he's told me the same thing. He says, "Yeah, my subs are going up, my watch time's getting a whole lot better." He's come up certainly in impressions, and so I'm looking at my analytics right now, and it looks like things are trending upwards right now. So that's pretty good. And then I just did this on a whim. I didn't plan it like this, but Access Vegas on my channel has been so monitored, and I couldn't actually host Access Vegas on this channel because I usually simulcast. Like when we started Access Vegas, I simulcast on this channel, on Access Vegas, and on Mike's channel, and then on the Rumble channel. So those were the 4 places we were simulcasting to. And I was a little concerned because they were saying, "Oh, you're reusing content." I'm like, "No, we're just simulcasting. It's different than pre-generated content." So now there's a little an option to try to get another review. I tried to get a review in March and they declined. They denied me. And then just about 2 weeks ago, I clicked on this. I'm like, what the hell? What I got to lose? So I went and clicked it again, and it came back monetized. And I was like, holy shit. So good news. Access Vegas is now remonetized. So you can super chat on this channel. You can super chat on Access Vegas, and you can super chat on Mike's. So I'm going to simulcast for the first time in a very long time on this channel on Wednesday. So you will actually see Access Vegas on the Rational Mail. And why wouldn't I, right? I mean, I've got close to 250,000 viewers right now. So that's what I'm going to end up. Hopefully that's going to go up. So if you haven't subbed to the channel, I never do this. I never beg for subscriptions. I never say, "Hey man, click the like button, dude." Or where is it? Wait. We've got, oh, here it is. Look down at the bottom corner there. Zing, like and subscribe. Yes, like and subscribe, please, for the love of Christ. Like and subscribe. All right, that's good enough. Thank you very much. But like and subscribe to this channel, where it will actually register now. So if you subscribe, you'll actually get it. You can actually get the bell and all that other good stuff. And like and subscribe to Access Vegas and the Clips channel as well too, because the Clips channel is sort of dependent on this channel as well. So I have much appreciated you guys. Let me get to Super Chats right quick. Siege D, who is always in my inbox. Well, I was planning on getting no more Mr. Nice Guy, but not anymore. Rolo, did you say Dr. Glover's stuff was outdated? So what's a better book? The Rational Mail is a better book. Player's Handbook. Are you looking to read something? Do you what are you interested in? I can suggest books, but I would need to know what you want to look at. Robert Cucker. Yes, Robert Glover. Thank you for your puns and humor. Hey, Rolo, whatever happened to Dr. Marty Hazelton? Good question. Or as I like to call her, Dr. Milvy Hazelton. She's a piece of ass, man. She's always been really good looking. Can we get her on Access Vegas? That is unlikely, sir. I don't know. I think she kind of got a bad taste, literally got a bad taste in her mouth. When a lot of people see her work as like a challenge now. She's one of the old guard that the younger generation wants to disprove. And I think that's interesting because I was just talking about this. I was just, where was it? Oh, it was in my Twitter. I'll dig it up out of my Twitter. but there's a growing sort of dependency, I think, on getting funding and wanting to sort of disprove old theories and hypotheses. And I think and once they started p-hacking her work, or once they started like trying to basically just discredit her in God knows how many different ways. The thing is psychologists, particularly, and as you know, I have a love-hate relationship with Dr. Buss, and please don't tell Mike. But I think Dr. David Buss was really he contributed quite a bit to evolutionary psychology. He contributed quite a bit to the conversations we have in the Red Pill, right? But I will say this is I think he's been compromised, and a lot of other people have been too, and that's what I was talking about on Twitter. I'll go see if I can dig up that Twitter post that I had. But as far as getting Marty Hazelton on the show, that's never going to happen, and I think she just sort of dropped out because she didn't need to be. She doesn't need. She's got a book. I mean, she's got Hormonal, right? But she doesn't need to be an influencer, and she is a parent as well. So I know she's got 2 daughters. And so she's at UCLA. I'm sure they pay her big bucks at UCLA to be a tenured professor there. She's been there for over 25 years. And, she gets interviewed by the likes of Gad Saad. So, she's probably doesn't want to have much to do with sort of the limelight or be an influencer whatsoever. But I think her work still pretty much speaks for itself and it stands alone. And I don't think she has any reason to be a quote unquote, psychologist influencer. She's not Dr. Taraban. She's not going to ever be a Sadia Khan. She's never going to be anything like that. So she's like for real. She's a real scientist, right? So I don't think she needs to. And I think that's probably one of the reasons you haven't heard from her. She hasn't really been doing the rounds too much. I mean, she still goes to conferences and stuff. I follow her on Twitter, and very rarely does she post on Twitter or really make any, if she's going to be and make a public, like she's going to do a TED talk or something like that, she'll announce that, but that's all she uses Twitter for. So she's like a normal person. She's not of this world. As someone who has spent Rational Redneck, thank you for your $10. As someone who has spent time as an educator, I can confirm that the school system is rigged against boys. Yes, that's well documented, by the way. A lot of research on this. I've seen balls taken away from recess to prevent boys from roughhousing, of course, because they teach them as if they're girls. Now, think about it this way, like 70, it's at least 77, it might be 80% now. I'm thinking of 2016 stats, but my most recent stats were 77% of your teachers, probably 80 by now, are from preschool up to postgraduate are going to be female. Teachers basically are female. People keep asking me, when are you going to do that show on female statutory rapists? As you know, I've been keeping it. If you follow me on Twitter, you know I've been keeping a tally for the year on individual incidents of female teacher, student, let's just say SA. Okay, I'm just going to use that, but you know what I mean. And I want to also add here a little quick caveat. One of the things I'm really sick to death of reading immediately after I post these things, like we're on number 52 right now, 52 individual incidents. Now I'm not, no repeats, no nothing, 52 document. There's probably more, but these are the ones that I'm aware of. Okay. At least 52 individual incidents of teachers SAing their well, sometimes female, but mostly male, under the age of consent, let's just say, boys. And the first thing anybody says is, well, where are those teachers when I was in school? Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Because I'm not talking about whether or not the kid enjoyed it. I'm not talking about the actual act itself. What I'm talking about is a separate standard of fucking justice. So shut the fuck up when it comes to that. He enjoyed it, so couldn't have been a crime, couldn't have been statutory rape, couldn't have been that. No, it could have, because that's the legal standard. That's the standard of justice. If it had been a male student and a female student, all that would have to happen is inappropriate text, and the guy's career is over. But we're going to say, oh, well, it was a young man of 15 or 16, and he was with a 24-year-old teacher or a 30-year-old teacher. So he must have enjoyed it. Shut up. That's not the point. The point is if we have a common standard of justice, that counts as GRAPE. That's what it's, that's it. Minus the G. So I'm sick of this crap. Oh, we need to lower the age of consent. Doesn't matter. I don't care what you think ought to be the rule of law. I don't care. The rule of law is what it fucking is. So if it had been, if you reverse the genders, that guy, that male teacher, goes to jail and probably dies in jail, because those guys are the guys that get special treatment. They get special treatment in jail. Oh, you're a rapist? Come here. Here, let me pull my pocket out. Grab my pocket. You know what I'm talking about. Let's get here. Grab this. Yeah. So that okay. I'm done. I'll get off the pulpit right now. But there has to be a common standard of justice. If there's not, then say so. Then rail against that. All I'm doing is counting the number of times this happened. You know why I got involved in doing this? Is because I had so many people coming to me talking about, oh, you know, those incels are dangerous. I was trying to refute Dr. Asterisk Will Costello's research on how dangerous incels are. I'm like, okay, show me the crime. Show me the statistics. Show me how many incels had these violent patterns of rage where they went out and they just went on these rampages. None, zero, crickets, nothing, zip. And I was looking at this, and people keep showing me all these teacher-student, incidents, and I was like, there have been. It was just in the 1 month, right? It was just 1 month, and I think I logged like 5 to 7, something like even 5 different incidents, 7 different incidents in a month. And I go, there have been more incidents of this crime than there have been of raging killer incels over the last, 10 years since Elliot Rodgers, right? Since May of 2014. We keep rewinding the clock all the way back to that one, right? I'm like, yeah, that was one incident. And that incident was over 10 years. It was 11 years ago. Where's the rest? You would think that would be a pattern. You would think that if we're going to go and designate incels as some sort of homegrown terrorists, and me and everybody in the red pill are the ones radical. We're the imams radicalizing these poor incels, right? Where is that? Where's the evidence for that? Show me the freaking statistics. Show me the crime logs. No, there's none. But you know what there is that you don't talk about? And I would think that any evolutionary psychologist would find this absolutely fascinating, that because we have 77 to 80% of your teachers are going to be female in the first place, guess what? Guess what that does to the incidents like this? They go up, and I can track them. I don't even have to have stats. I don't even have to have like official crime. I just log each one of these. And you know what I'm going to do? I don't know if it'll be in the next one, probably within the next few weeks. I'm going to do my annual teacher, because now I have to do it annually because everybody wants it. I got to do my annual teacher student essay show once again. And you know what? We'll go line by line, incident by incident. We're going to cover all 52. And by the time I do it, there'll probably be 60. And they just keep coming in one after the other. Where is Mac and Murphy? Where is Will Costello? God knows where freaking Alex from Date Psych is, long gone. Where are these guys? Where's this interest? Nowhere. Where's Dr. David Buss studying these? Well, this should be like, I should get a doctorate for studying this, for logging this, for having coming up with a hypothesis. I should make this my doctoral thesis. Do I get an honorary master's degree? Can I have a doctorate too? Yeah. But the reason why I did that, the reason why I was doing that is because I was just trying to compare. Here you have that's a crime. Clearly it's a crime. It damages an individual. Like now, and then of course, premeditated murder is a crime too. But how come we should make female teachers terrorists? I mean, come on. It's everywhere. and it's, by the way, it's not just in the United States, it's also in the UK and some other places too. I tend to look at the ones that are in the US, but I do have a couple. I think I've got 4 or 5 from the UK as well. So there you go. Can you do a micro bikini edition of Access Vegas? You know what? I'm going to run that by Mike and let him decide for that. God, do I dare reveal the truth about the? If you notice, I've kind of like this was not my doing. Okay, I've kind of toned back the thumbnails for Access Vegas, and we did this because we wanted to, Mike wanted to get remonetized, and maybe that was one of the reasons I got remonetized too. But you'll notice that I don't show like tits and ass quite as much as I used to in the thumbnails, and the reason for that is because that's walking a very fine line when I'm doing that. Now, we didn't get demonetized for a long time. We did after a little while. I think that might have had something to do with it, and then Mike and his team were really trying to get remonetized on his show. And so he asked me, hey, can you just just can you put him fully clothed? And I'm like, well, can you tell the girls to be fully clothed? Because I'm having a real tough time finding shots where they're just in a cocktail dress and they're, it's got a neck up to here. Cause usually it's like they're in lingerie, they're in bikinis, or they're in very revealing stuff. And I have to go to their Instagram to find the pictures to put them on the thumbnail in the first place. So it becomes a little bit more of an effort on my part, but I think I've done pretty well with it. I kind of relaxed it a little bit recently, but I would trust me, I would like nothing more than to do the micro bikini edition of Access Vegas. But we want to stay monetized. I just got monetized, and you guys are trying to get me demonetized again. It should be illegal for YouTube to demonetize a channel and still make money from ad revenue on the content. I don't know if they do that. Well, yeah, I guess they would do that. Maybe they would. I don't know. I'd have to go look at the ones. I'd have to go look at the ones where they were, because they put the ads in auto. But I'm shit. I can't even put up until recently, I couldn't even put links in the description because they didn't want me linking to stuff I could make money from. Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. What's going on, Jim Rat Rollo? Which way to the beach? It's over there. I like the lighting today, Kyle. Look, I got the underglow. I want to go on your brother's podcast. I want to go on Dollar Cost Crypto just so I can do this. What's funny is God, I should dig this up. I looked on there's a tweet on Chris Williamson's site. Now, Chris Williamson does not do his own Twitter, so whoever is running his account, they put this list of the most desirable hobbies that men can have. And trust me, Warhammer 40,000 is not on that list.
No,
but what is on that list? What is on the top of the list? Is your hobby reading? I don't think that's a hobby. I just think that's something that's necessary in life. It's just something you enjoy doing. There are very few things I call when I'm painting miniatures, or I'm doing stuff with my hands and stuff like that, or doing modeling and stuff, or I'm painting, or I'm drawing. Okay, hobby, right? I don't look at guitar playing as a hobby. It's like a passion of mine. It's more than a hobby, right? I guess you could call it a vocation, but it's something a little bit more than just a hobby, right? I think if you're getting a band together and you're putting music together and you're putting it out there, then it transcends the hobby category.
I guess it's a hobby if you're not really actively using it.
Right. One of those hobbies was archery. Oh my God. What fucking chick is saying archery? What archery? Girl is saying archery? And then I thought about it. This is archery. That's archery. I know, because I do archery, but I was like, this is why it's popular. and then of course, and it's number 9 on a 10 list. And I don't know how you even got to number 9. Blacksmithing.
Wow.
Who the fuck is blacksmithing? What dude is blacksmith? Now, I understand if you've been watching The Witcher, or you've been watching Game of Thrones or whatever. Oh, man, those guys with blacksmith, man, look at those arms. I'm who's blacksmithing? What guys? Outside of a outside of the Renaissance Fair or the Society for Creative Anachronism, I know the SCA. Who's blacksmith? even the guys in the SCA don't blacksmith. They just like,
What blacksmith left such a good impression?
that it would make the list.
That's an option.
Enough women would go, oh yeah, blacksmithing. I'm down with that.
He laid the hammer down.
He laid the hammer down. And what is your hobby? Chopping wood?
Oh my God, that's.
You notice that it's always like, I'm gonna chop wood. I'm going to blacksmith. Oh my God! Like, why? How come fencing is not part of this? How come like axe throwing? That's a hobby, right? I think it's a pastime, anyways. Axe throwing. Reading was at the top of the list, though. Blacksmithing, really? Blacksmith. Okay. Apparently, I gotta. Who the fuck? I mean, welding, like guys who weld, like creatively weld, like they make like lawn art or like wind art kind of thing. That's badass, right? But they're not they're not smithing they're not like getting the ore out of the ground and heating it up and putting it into a mold or something. It's crazy, man. Like I can't even understand. All right. Does the Ashley St. Clair situation even tradcons show that even tradcons will lie on their back and spread their legs for money for if the money is right. No marriage necessary. Yeah, it does. There's I think I've actually shown this video like way back. I think probably like a year or two ago. It was after, I remember it was directly after, I think it was the summertime, after Mike and I went on whatever podcast, and Farah was on the I have another clip with Farah today too. Was on the show with us, still didn't have any lenses in those glasses. And she did the show with Destiny because she's one of Destiny's plants, or she was. I don't think she is now. Speaking of cucks, but she had mentioned she was talking that she was telling Destiny this story about some guy that she met, and I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to give you my opinion. But she was on a date, like a 6-hour or 8-hour date with some guy who was very conservative, and she was really into him because the guy was hot, and so they were having a really good date. And she didn't want to tell him what she did for a living, which of course is OnlyFans, right? And because he had mentioned something about how he was like, didn't really like women who did OnlyFans because it was like, prostituting their bodies, and, typical conservative line, right? Which I think is funny because if you know anything about Farah, if you've ever seen her, if you ever looked at it, like if you knew who she was, you know what she does. So sometime during the date, she had said that she had to come clean and actually tell him, well, I do OnlyFans is what I do for a living, right? And so the guy says, well, let me see your site. Let me see your OnlyFans. And she shows him and everything. I don't know that she necessarily does like actual intercourse, but she's, naked and does all that other shit. And she says she's a lesbian too. So I don't know. But anyways, what do you think? What do you think the response was, Kyle, to something like that? Do you think he just got up and left and said, you whore? Do you think he went full like John Zerka? No, he didn't. He went and said, well, I guess it's okay. I guess it's all right. Like he's like, for you, I'll make an exception. And the reason she was upset about it is because she told Destiny she could hear my voice echoing in her head from the show that we had done about how she thought I was going to be right. Because her doing OnlyFans is going to, I asked her this question. I said, do you think that doing OnlyFans is going to impact your ability to find a husband or find a guy for even just a long-term boyfriend or something like that? Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Blah, 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 blah. And then this happens. And then she thinks she's going to lose this guy because he's all conservative. She's still hot for him, and she's like willing to make concessions because she's probably not the kind of chick who's going to date a conservative guy, but she still wanted to get with him. You know why? because sex preempts all ideologies. And that gets back to your super chat here. It preempts everything. Everybody wants some, man. I don't care if you're liberal. I don't care if you're conservative guy. Oh, I would never date anybody who's on OnlyFans. Oh, let me see. I'll make an exception in your case. Get the fuck out of here. Yes, I do. 100%. I think that it's, the Ashley St. Clair thing. Ashley St. Clair, her entire life is a lie anyway. She's not really a good example for this because she's just a, I can't call her that. She's a lady of the night. She's for the streets. I need the streets. God damn it. I need Big Mo. I need the For the Streets sound drop if you'll give it to me. So yeah. It doesn't make any difference whether you're liberal. It doesn't make any difference. Like sex is sex. Okay. Especially for guys, the guys don't get laid that much as it is. So it's an accomplishment. And so I want to, actually, God, this is actually a pretty good time to throw this one out here. Let's see if I can find this. Charlize Theron. This is a good starter for today.
It's always like something must be wrong with her. She can't keep a man. She must be a real bitch. What a cunt. I love that I don't have to run every fucking thing by a guy. I'm having the kind of sex I never had in my 20s or in my 30s. We should be the ones that are like, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna have an orgasm. But I did just recently fuck a 26-year-old and it was really fucking amazing. There's a casting for this movie and you'll have to go on Saturday night, and they gave me the address and it was this director's house. The little voice inside me definitely said, this isn't right. I remember like being furious with myself because I couldn't believe how I had let myself down. Like I was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you? Where the fuck? Why the fuck would you allow that? Until you are in this fucking environment, don't tell me how you're gonna behave.
Sorry, I had to put myself in there because again, you have to be in the actual video. Otherwise, they're going to give you shit. That's Charlize Theron, 49 years old, by the way, and no kids.
Oh,
I think she has no kid. I don't think. Look that up. Find out for me if she has kids. I don't think she is. I think she's a single. And of course now she's like, I'm living my best life. I mean, well, you're postmenopausal, so let's just start with that. And by the way, I want to clear the air here. I can tell you from experience, like my wife has gone through menopause already. So I'm just going to say right now, my wife is like great in bed and she still wants to get after it. So don't let anybody tell you that menopause is the end of women's sexuality. And especially don't let women tell you that's the case.
She has an adopted daughter.
She's an adopt. Oh, is she mixed race?
Yep.
Yeah. Makes sense. Following the Angelina Jolie life path. Yes, I see. But so why is it always that? So anyways, the reason why I bring this up is because I gotta give props where props are due. Andrew Wilson, bravo. He was just on Pierce Morgan, who, by the way, I'll explain to you the Pierce Morgan situation afterwards. Was on Pierce Morgan. I think he was on there he's on there with Jedediah Bila. Also, bravo, Jedediah was on there as well, schooling the feminists. And so you had Andrew Wilson, you had Jedediah Bila, and you had two nameless feminists who nobody knows. Okay. And Pierce Morgan, of course, looking for the big clicks on this one. And he got them for sure because Andrew Wilson was on point. One of the things she says, of course, is like, oh, I'll just say it. I'm quoting Charlize Theron. I fucked this 26-year-old guy. Man, it was great. It was doing some of the best sex of my life. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it was because like now you're 49, single, well, with a mixed race adopted kid. And I'm fascinated because whenever a guy like, I don't know, Mike Sartain says, I'm dating a 22-year-old girl and she's my girlfriend, people lose their fucking shit. People lose their minds. Like, oh, that's robbing no, that's not. That, you know what that is? That is pedophilea. You know what I mean? That's that they to the point where it's becoming a crime for a guy who's 47 to get with a 22-year-old. But now Charlize Theron at 49 years old can get with a 26-year-old and go, man, it was great sex. Boy, he was awesome. Imagine Mike Sartain, 47 years old, saying, man, I just banged this 26-year-old chick. She's fucking great. you'd be demonetized, canceled. You'd be dead in the water, man. This is what I'm talking about. You want to know why Brolo gets all upset about like double standards and there's separate standards of justice for women and for men? Here's another great example of it. Oh, what about double standards? Yeah. What's funny is like women think they own the term double standards. There are far more double standards for men than there are for women. But the only one we ever want to think about is, well, you know, a man who bangs a lot of girls, he's a player and a stud. No, they call him a man whore today, but I digress. But if a woman has a lot of sex, then she's a whore. That's the only definition of double standard. And then when you bring up something that is sort of like leans in the direction of men, then you're complaining. And men are never allowed to complain. Even if you have an objective like observation of some intersexual dynamic, you could be as measured and as level and as just as bland as you can make it. Just you saying it, you're complaining. Let me explain something to you right now, like haters. You can actually observe a phenomenon and not endorse that phenomenon. You can actually make field observations about people's behaviors and not actually endorse those behaviors. And just because you're looking at something from an objective observational perspective, that doesn't mean you're complaining about it. It just means you're talking about it. And I brought this up on the Adam Sosnick review. And I think it still holds true. Adam is just basically trying to relate reality to Patrick Bet David. And Patrick Bet David, his default is white knight. And how do you white knight another guy? How do you police another guy's thoughts? You shame him. You tell him he's complaining about something. And he's like, no, I'm just making an observation. You don't know what you're talking about, Pat, because you haven't been out in the field for a long, long time. Do you think maybe I have a better opinion? Well, you do of used up, railed down, run through club chicks. Well, where else would I like to go to Minect? Where else would you like me to go? All right. Yeah. PBD is as blue pilled as they come. And I don't see that. Well, people go, well, it's his wife. His wife is controlling him. No. He's controlling himself. He's policing himself because he thinks that that's what is expected of him by his wife. He doesn't want to have that conversation when he gets home. Guys don't get that bent out of shape about this kind of stuff that Adam talks about unless they're worried about their market share, or unless they're worried about their audience, or unless they're worried about having to explain themselves to their wives when they get home. I know guys, I'm not going to name any names, but I know guys who have, this is a pretty common incident anyways. I know guys who have changed personalities like within a week of getting a girlfriend. They get one girlfriend and like, well, guys are saying, well, you never hear from them again. Well, yeah, you kind of have to these days because you got Instagram and everything else. And so suddenly it goes from I'm partying at Zook, I'm hanging out with these guys, I'm living the life, I'm jet setting, I'm doing this shit, to, hey, look at us at Disneyland. Hey, here we are at I don't know, the state fair, whatever. And so it suddenly goes from guy who is just happy-go-lucky guy to, well, I gotta take some responsibility for myself now. Now you do. Like, you didn't do it when you were like free to do whatever you wanted to and take responsibility for yourself, but now you do. What changed? You know what I'm talking about. Like when a girl gets a boyfriend and she still talks to her girlfriends. She still has those connections. For guys, that's when guys start policing not only their own kind of thoughts, but the thoughts of other guys. So you got a guy who might be like Adam Sosnick, and then suddenly he gets a girlfriend, or he gets married or whatever, and starts like just not disrespecting his friends, but just not communicating with them, because he knows that's, well, I'm growing up, I gotta do what I gotta do, kind of thing. And it's like, no. Like, don't diss your boys just because you got a girlfriend. Very few guys will do that. Very few guys, because most guys are 80%ers, and when they get a girlfriend, like, they can't believe their luck, and so they don't want to fuck anything up, and that starts with hanging out with the guys who are your friends, who are your bros for a very long time. And so you end up disrespecting your bros just by like ghosting them because you think that that's what she wants. Well, you know, I got to be a good dad now. I got to take on some. And like the funny thing is the transformation happens like in a half an hour. You know, it's just it's unbelievable. You know, it's like, can I talk to Ray instead of this Ray? You know, like, oh, where is my friend? Yeah, it's and because they're policing themselves. And that's, I can tell. I've gotten to the point right now where I've dealt with this enough and I've written enough about this and I've been involved in like red pill conversations. I've been involved in like helping guys out for long enough to like, if I'm listening to a dude and I listen to his choices of words and it's combined with an attitude, like you can tell when a guy is white knighting, but he's not quite white knighting. He's just like, he's white knighting himself. He's like policing his own words because he doesn't want any woman within earshot to go, oh, this guy's he's a misogynist. Why are you with the misogynist? Yeah, he doesn't want any of her girlfriends to like think anything less of him. So now he goes from like freewheeling red pill dude to, oh, I got to be responsible. Got a kid on the way. You know, I knocked her up. Like, okay, just film. Let me know when the wedding is, and then I'll give you the rational mail, and I'll be out of your life. Thanks. Yeah. All right, let's get to Dr. Robert Glover today. Now, we're going to get into the cuck aspects of today's show. I'm sorry to say, Dr. Robert Glover put out this video recently, and it's like, I hope Rich Cooper does a video on this too, because I think he might. Maybe I preempted Rich, but sorry, Rich. But because I think Rich was kind of a fan of Dr. Glover for a while, maybe not so much now. Dr. Glover's kind of like jumped the shark, and I see this happen every now and then. I was talking about this earlier about how Dr. David Buss kind of like put his credentials on the money table, and basically I think at one point like Dr. Robert Glover realized that his name is a brand, and his brand is worth more than probably any of his work has ever been. Like he's going to make more money off of just being the authority on all of this than writing books about this. And Lord knows I know, because I've written 5 books and I'm almost done with the 6th. So we're going to dig into this because I see this happen quite often, and I'm going to just make a quick forecast here. Okay. Dr. Glover is just he's in this phase where he's kind of has to deny the red pill. He kind of has, like, before he was kind of like, you know, he didn't want to be associated with the red pill, but he didn't mind the association if it meant that more people were going to buy No More Mr. Nice. Has he even written anything besides that? I think he might have. No More Mr. Nice Guy was his sort of seminal work, and I have read it. I thought it was a pretty good book at the time. There's a few things I would take issue with, but for more or less, it wasn't a bad book. Like when I read Dr. David Buss kept everything very like analytical, very scientific. If you read like Why Women Have Sex, if you read any of the books prior to Men Behaving Badly, very scientific, very formulaic, very, just nuts and bolts, until Men Behaving Badly. And then it's this essays on masculine apologetics. And the same thing was true for like Dr. Hector Garcia on Alpha God, which is a book. A Siege D. That's the one you need to read. Read Alpha God by Dr. Hector Garcia. If you can forgive his lame attempts to get street cred for his male feminism throughout the book, and then apologizing for masculinity towards the end, he does very good work with his stats. He does very good analytics. He's kind of like Dr. Warren Farrell, who I really liked for a very long time, but another guy who is a consummate statistician, really knows his shit. But then when it comes down to like summarizing, like, okay, here's what we're going to do. It's all based on egalitarianism. It's all based on feminism. It's all based on a gynocentric like prioritization. Same thing with Dr. Richard Reeves. So what you have is you have guys who they've been in like the business for a while. They've been in evolutionary psychology or evolutionary biology, or they've been involved in like teaching this stuff at the collegiate level for a very long time. And then they realize, wow, I can make more money as an influencer. My brand, my name is worth more. I'm going to jump the shark. I'll go write Men Behaving Badly. I'll go and endorse some shoddy, research methodology for Will Costello. I'll go and put my stamp of approval of Dr. David Buss on a dating site or a dating app, which, by the way, he did in 2020. Again, if you watch that episode that I did about 2 years ago on how David Buss is, I think, compromised, you'll begin to see that. But same thing's happening with Dr. Glover. I'm going to make a prediction. Here we go, Kyle. I'm going to make a prediction. Dr. Orion Taraban will jump the shark too. I guarantee you. He'll get to the point where he'll be like, I don't want to have the stink of the red pill on me. That's what, not my words, their words. Same thing with Dr. Sean Smith. Same thing with Dr. Robert Glover right now. I will guarantee you at some point, Orion Taraban will dissociate or disown the red pill, guaranteed. Sadia Khan is just a fake, so which I'm going to prove to you today. But no lie. I think that a lot of time what happens is it's, as you already know, and again, this is my preamble for Dr. Robert Glover. Again, no hate on Robert Glover. I know what he's doing. He's selling out, and he is in good company here, because when you got a guy like David Buss who sold out, Dr. Robert Glover selling out is also, predictable. So what happens is we live in the influencer age. I'm by default, I'm an influencer. Okay. I've got one show. I've got an Instagram account. I do two shows, I guess. Access Vegas. I've written 5, at least Amazon bestsellers. If one of them is an international bestseller. And I'm working on a 6th book. I'm an author. I'm primarily an author. Trust me, I wouldn't be sitting here suffering from shingles pain if I didn't love what I'm doing. But I'm not doing this for the money. Like, if you want to, don't contribute to Ned's college fund. Contribute to my medical bills. I'd be much more appreciative. No, we live in the influencer age, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen some pastors talk about this too recently, about how AI can write their sermons. And so if the AI, if ChatGPT is writing a sermon about, you can make it about whatever you want to, right? Salvation, forgiveness, sex, whatever it is. Write me a sermon and write it in. You can even have it written in the flavor of, I don't know, Presbyterian or Southern Baptist or white bread evangelical, or Catholic. I don't know, whatever. You can get that specific with it. And then it saves you time and whatever. Is it divinely influenced if it comes from ChatGPT, or is it coming from a compromised AI that's telling you what and where to preach, right? And the thing is like it's not enough to be a pastor. You have to be an influencer on top of that. You have to have a blog. You have to live stream your sermons and your worship team and everything else. If you want to compete with the big boys, this is what you have to do. You've got to have a Facebook presence. You've got to have a Twitter presence. You've got to have an Instagram presence. You've got to have a blog. You've got to have a mailing list. You've got to have some sort of electronic way for people to tithe. You've got all of this stuff, like modernizing the church right now. And by the way, AI and ChatGPT is just one more tool. And how would you know any different? You wouldn't. And I also want to point out that this is no surprise, because you got these guys who are agonizing over ChatGPT writing sermons for them, when in fact there's already been preset sermons that have been sort of passed around various churches for a long time. And then they take those, you can edit them however you want, but they're just pre-done preset sermons. So if you're kind of uninspired for the week, that's okay. Just grab one out of the book, and then now you got this, right? Did it come from some divine inspiration? I don't know. It's kind of up to the individual, I guess, but whatever. It's not enough to just be a pastor. It's not enough just to preach the word, right? It's not enough. And you can apply this to Islam. You can apply it to Judaism. You can apply it to Christianity. You can apply it to any major religion, even minor religions, right? So I'm not just picking on, not shitting on just one. All right. So that's one thing. Now, the next thing is this, is if you take guys like, let's just say Dr. Taraban or David Buss, or even Dr. Glover, right? They went and did the work. Now, he has a doctorate. Even Taraban, who went to a school that's basically a diploma mill, even he did the work. He does have a doctorate. I don't have a doctorate. I've got a bachelor in psychology. I don't have a doctorate in psychology. So, but it's not enough to just have that. If you want to be a clinical psychologist, think about what you have to do. You've got to go to school for what, 8 years, 6 years minimum. So you got to have a master's and a doctorate. So probably like 8 years, right? So you're committing 8 years of probably your 20s, and then you get into your 30s, right? Now, what do I have to do? I've got to have malpractice insurance. I've got to have a secretary. I've got to have a place to see my clients, my clientele. I've got to have transportation. I got to have, well, I'm probably going to have to be, the place is going to have a lease. Then I've probably got student debt on top of that, right? So I got a lot of bills to pay once I finally get my doctorate in clinical psychology, right? So I do this, I get everything set up. I'm doing this. I'm seeing people. I'm helping people out. I got to charge $75, $100 an hour, which is still not enough to actually make the bills to do that. And then I go and see somebody like John from Modern Life Dating, sitting in a bubble bath like this, making money hand over fist, talking to the same guys who would be your clientele. And he didn't go to 1 year of college. He didn't go and do anything other than just start talking about it. He has no books. He has, he's got his program, whatever. I don't even know what is it? Body language mastery, right? Whatever it is, which I thought was great. You got all this stuff, and you're a psychologist, and you see influencers who are basically making more money than you, who could easily pay your all of your bills. And now you realize, not only do I have to do all of that, now I also have to have a blog. I got to be an influencer. I got to do Ryan Taraban, for example, has to front load all of his videos, which he reads off a teleprompter. He's got to not only maintain all that stuff about being a quote unquote clinical psychologist. Now he's going from podcast to podcast. He's in Las Vegas. He's doing what is it, Soft White Underbelly with Sadia Khan. And God knows whatever else he's doing. So he still has to go and do all these other things besides all of the work that he did to get to where he's at, right? So, I mean, respect to him. But the thing is you could have avoided all of that. All you have to do is lift my work and start your own channel. All you have to do is start something up, right? You just have to be a MGTOW and start your own channel. It's like, you'll make money. Write a book, or get a ghostwriter to write the book for you. Get some, some stock art imagery to put on the cover, and then call it a book when it's a pamphlet of 99 pages, right? Doesn't matter. It's a product. You can still sell it. That's all that matters. It's just a funnel. It's just a funnel marketing. But that's what you have to do today. So it's not enough to just be a pastor. It's not enough just to be a psychologist. It's not enough just to be a writer, even. I'll admit, when I've got 5 books to my name right now, I still have to find new ways to market it. I'm using AI to help me out with that right now, which I'm shamelessly using it. I'm more into the graphics. I like the art side of it, but I'll if it looks like I can make it work, if I can more efficiently advertise books and stuff like that, I'm going to do it, right? Because I have to, because my competition is going to. So I've got to keep doing it. Crypto. I got to learn crypto just because I'm working with Miguel and everything. So now I'm in no way a crypto expert. Or if I'm working out at Powerhouse Gym and I've got some endorsement with Hide Yamagishi, I still got to look. I got to promote. I got to help people out. I'm still networking and doing all this stuff. It's not enough just to be an author, and that's what throws these guys off. So what happens is you become your brand. I am Rollo Tomasi, right? Now, when I walk out the door, I'm going to just be me. But right now, this is where I'm at. This is my persona right now, and it's just what I am. It's just what I do. Same thing on Access Vegas. Same thing with Mike. Same thing with everybody, right? We are who we say we are. And so, because actually, let me show you this one video real quick, and maybe Mike can explain it for me better than I can. Where did it go? Where did I put Mike? Here we go.
News for you guys. There's no such thing as real status because status is only perceived. You need to look up the definition of status. It's only perceived. How much does a Lamborghini cost? If I perceive the Lamborghini costs $50,000, I can't buy the Lamborghini. And if one guy's trying to sell me a Lamborghini for $400 million, I'm not going to buy it from him. Our perceptions where they meet, where people actually transact, is how we determine the price of an object. This is also the reason why we get a lot of mismatches when it comes to dating apps. Men think they can do better than they actually can because they watch too much porn. Women think they can do better than they actually can because they had sex with a rapper one time. We've misidentified, we've misperceived what our value is, but our value is based on the buyer and the seller. Our status is totally a matter of perception, and it's person by person.
There you go. Perception. Status is perception. This whole thing is perception. Everything is perception, right? And it's never been easier to manipulate that perception. So that's imagine being like a pastor, or imagine being a psychologist, and then you see like MLD in the bathtub, you know, with the bubble bath, right? And he's making more money than you are, and he's been doing it longer than you have, and you have to catch up. Suddenly you realize you have to catch up. You'd be pretty pissed. In fact, you probably sell yourself out, or you probably want to align yourself with, I don't know, MGTOW, black pill, red pill, manosphere, this, that, whatever's trending. Hashtag red pill, hashtag manosphere, right? And so taking that to the logical extreme, then after a while, it becomes a liability, and then you're going to have to find a way to sort of bug yourself out of that. And that's when you kind of start to lose market share, and you don't really realize, like, if you don't understand how the game is played, if you don't understand like how branding works, if you don't understand how marketeering works, you're gonna to quote Ryan Stone, you're gonna step on your dick. So here's I gotta dig it up. What is it about downloading videos right now? Because you know how I like to download videos and host them from the laptop, right? I couldn't do it for this one, so I apologize for that. But I do have it already loaded up here. But we'll just stream it out. But the thing is every time I'm downloading it, it comes in a foreign language, like Spanish or Japanese or something like that. I don't know if that's like they're trying to find some way to. There we go. Okay. Hopefully the audio on this will come through. I think it will. But I'm going to, let's see, where is it? Where can I, present, share screen. Okay. All right. This is God. I will never grow my beard this long. I give you my solemn promise. I will never grow my beard like this. There we go. Can we see that? There we go. Perfect. Let's go full screen on this bad boy. Can you hear this?
We'll make up these stupid rules that say if she's got a high body count, she can't really get in. She's not able to get all the way into a relationship and have a healthy, vulnerable relationship. And the very guys that are saying that are the guys that are spinning plates saying, I'm not going to date just one woman. I'm going to date multiple women, but she better not have ever any other guy because that makes me too insecure. So I'm going to focus on body count and treat her as yesterday's trash if she's more guys than women that I've been with.
Integration Nation.
I actually just came across, a reference to body count yesterday, I think. And I'm going to share my opinion. You're asking my opinion on it. In my positive emotional tension course that you reference and all of.
Wait a minute. Positive emotional tension course. All right. Let's keep going.
Yeah, I talk about.
There's this clip of Kerry King from Slayer, and he's being interviewed, and the chick says, "What was the one song that was the most difficult for you to write emotionally, or that really kind of moved you? You had difficulty writing because it was a really emotional song." And Kerry King sits there and he's like, well, "I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm not emotional." I was like, that's Kerry King. That is fucking that's classic Kerry King. All right, let's go back to him.
women are sexual Ferraris. They are the most sexually evolved creature on the planet. They're wide.
This is white knight speak right here. They're the most sexually. This is like saying they're closer to God. And by the way, if you read my book, my religion book, I've talked about this on several occasions where I've literally heard pastors say women are more evolved, right? They're closer to God than we are. And again, remember I told you about like when I can hear white knight speak, like when I hear this, women are closer to God. Women are more emotionally evolved. Women are more sexually evolved. Whatever. Okay. Blah, blah. Here, I'm going to do bird hands. Blah, 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 blah. This is just you white knighting and policing your own thoughts. This is the thing this is how you know a guy is blue pill, when he is measuring his words. I'm going to bird hands. When it was measured. Thank you, Ho Math. I can't do this anymore without thinking bird hands, right? Fuck you. But anyways, you can't use certain words and certain word choices. You got to remember all this. I got to use my fingers now. Remember this. When I listen to guys, like when I first meet guys, it could be anywhere. I could be at the airport. I could be like at a restaurant. I could be whatever. When I start talking about stuff, especially if I start talking about like, oh, happy wife, happy life, that's too easy. That's too easy. Like when you start using words like more evolved than what? Like where are you getting this bullshit from? They're not any more evolved than men are. We're co-evolving right now. All right. We're at where we're at. Okay. That's in the evolutionary chain, like with the little freaking frog crawling out of the water and turns into a monkey and turns into ape man and then turns into a modern man. That's where we both are right now. Okay. Men and women. I just don't know if you know anything about evolution, but there you go. Jesus Christ. Never has there been more Jungian psychology than Robert Glover.
Here, Deb. More sex with more partners, more often, have more orgasms, and enjoy it more than men.
Okay. What are you basing this on? See, here's the thing. Can they have more sex partners? Yes, they can, because they're women. It's easy. That's the whole thing that Andrew Wilson was saying about Charlize Theron. That's why he fucking hit that fucking thing out of the park. When he was on Piers Morgan, the first thing, and he's basically channeling Myron. Myron would have said pretty much the same thing. But he said this. He says, I'm not impressed by Charlize Theron getting with a 26-year-old guy. Why? Because it's easy. It's hard for a guy who's 49 years old to get with a 26-year-old girl. That's tough. You have to go against, the flow. You got counter flow, right? You have to go against the zeitgeist of the time, which says you should be ashamed of yourself. You're robbing the cradle. It's close to being, PEDO, right? It's close to all that stuff. And so if we can shame you and criminalize it and get you to police yourself about it, and then we look at Charlize Theron and we go, oh, she's more sexually evolved. If you were looking at Robert Glover would say, well, of course, that she enjoys it more. She's more sexually evolved. But if a guy gets that takes a lot more. There's a lot more going. That guy has to be rich. He's got to be like freaking Mike Sartain, right? He's got to have a lot of money. He's got to be single. He's got to be available. He's got to be likable. He's got to have social proof. He's got to have pre-selection. He's got to have, look at all of the checklists. Look at all of the prerequisites that would be necessary for a guy who is of Mike Sartain's stature to get with a 22-year-old, 24-year-old, 26-year-old, which I know he does. For him to get with these chicks, that's an accomplishment. For Charlize Theron, who is an actress, single at 49, she still looks good. Don't get me wrong. She's definitely bangable. But for her to get with the 26-year-old, Andrew's 100% right. And brought, like I said, grand slam. Because nobody had a comeback for this. No one, even Jedediah Biel was speechless. He said, that's not impressive. That's not impressive. It's not impressive when a 49-year-old woman, actress woman who looks very fuckable, can get with a 26-year-old guy. That's not impressive. Because the barrier to entry, literally, for women is much lower. So in a way, like Robert Glover's correct about this. Can they? Is the option available? Yes, it is. When we're gonna talk about open relationships and cuckoldry here in just a minute, but I'll show you the stats for this as well. The partner in any open relationship that believes that they have more opportunity in an open relationship is always the one that either initiates it or is the one that agrees to it more readily than the other one, because they can then explore their options. It's a no-brainer, right? If you got one guy who's kind of like, nah, it's good looking, you got a really hot wife, you say, okay, we'll be in an open relationship. The chick's going to go, fuck yeah. Or the guy who's better looking than the woman who's like sort of like, more just sort of like insecurely attached to that guy. He's going to be, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. Like whoever believes that they have the most opportunity is usually the one who initiates it and or agrees to it more readily. So usually, let's just for sake of argument, if we were going to say on average, who benefits the most from an open relationship, men or women? Who has more opportunity in the sexual marketplace in an open relationship? It's usually the women. Because women don't have to do anything. The barrier to entry, like Charlize Theron said, very low. It's not impressive. Women can go out and get after it with whoever they want. And this is something that Robert Glover knows very well because his wife and he are in an open relationship. Actually, I had 4 videos sent to me. I'm only going to use one, but I've had 4 videos sent to me on the occasions where he's saying that, he's in an open relationship. He gets off on the idea that his wife is fucking somebody else. That's a cuck. That is classic cuckoldry right there. So everything after this, you're going to have to sort of take with a grain of salt or put it into that framework, because everything that comes out of his mouth after this has to be put with an asterisk. I'm in an open relationship. This is a man that is self-policing his words at this point. And I don't know why he's even doing this, because enough people already know this. You had to know I'm going to do it. You had to know I'm going to call you out, man.
And we've got this cultural meme. Oh, women don't like sex. You got to talk them into sex. I believed that for a long time. It's horseshit. What's happened is that culture has made sex costly for women. It's been doing that for about 10,000 years. Prior to that.
Wait a minute. 10,000 years? 10,000 years. Really? 10,000 years. No. No, it hasn't. Oh my God. One of the things that gets me about guys like this is, again, he's selling a program. This is all marketing. Okay. So he has to give you the buildup and his rationale for what he's going to be marketing to you later. But the thing is really, I'd like to see some stats about that. Right? Like, is there studies like that I can like sort of back? I got to go to Perplexity and see if that's really the case. He's got his evolutionary, rationale here is completely off kilter. And I think Mike Sartain would have a field day with this. I should send this to Mike. I don't know why I didn't. 10,000 years. The problem I have with guys like this, and maybe not so much Dr. Taraban, because I don't know where he is with respect to evolutionary psychology. I think he's probably on board, but I think he'd rather just like lift my material and reproduce it. But the fact of the matter is like when you start replacing social constructionism for nuts and bolts evolutionary psychology and evolutionary biology, that's when you are blue pill. That's when you jump the shark. That's when I know it's marketing. So a lot of this stuff, like just the very fact that you say, oh, societal this, societal, no. No, that's not like society is downstream from biology, Robert. I don't know if you know that, but there you go.
That when we were tribal, nomadic, everything was communal, and everybody had access to everybody. And Mother Nature loves that. Mother Nature loves lots of penises and lots of vaginas. It gives genetic.
No, it actually doesn't. And no, that's not actually what happened. Okay, did we live in hunter-gatherer societies? Absolutely. But there's this little thing called intertribal warfare. I don't think you're quite aware of. Okay, we're too busy fucking, so we can't go in and invade the other tribe and then steal their women and reintroduce them into our population. That's been happening for the last 10,000 years, probably longer than that. but let's be honest here, okay? Let's be honest. See, the thing is he's about to get into. I'm going to totally ruin this narrative here. This is bonobo sex, is what this is. The bonobos were these peace-loving, peacenik hippie chimps that just penises and vaginas everywhere. No ownership, no nothing, no patriarchy. It's all egalitarian. No, Robert. If you know anything about bonobos, if you know, like I know that's where he's going with this, but if you know anything about our tribal natures, it wasn't about penises and vaginas. It was absolutely about ownership. It was about paternity. You don't need a degree to figure this shit out, okay? It's about paternity. Well, I'm going to let him continue. Let's let him hang himself a little more.
Genetic diversity. Monogamy is evolutionary sin. Mother Nature, I mean, I'm not preaching against it, but it does not serve Mother Nature's purposes. It might serve other purposes.
No, it absolutely serves Mother Nature's purposes. Why? Because human beings, not unlike primates, other primates, we have to invest in our offspring more than anything else. That's why. That's why women are the vulnerable sex and men are the disposable martyr sex. That's men have to provide, protect, and be parentally invested. That's what women are looking for. And then, of course, he's also got to be hung. He's got to be fucking jacked. He's got to be able to protect, right? There's the physical aspect.
Jack of all trades.
Well, look at it this way. Like if you protection and provisioning too, right? Those are the resource acquisition and a capacity for violence. Well, how do I determine whether this guy's got a capacity for violence? He's got to be jacked. He's got to have a bad attitude. He's got to be dominant. But not dominant with me and my offspring and my family, just dominant enough to keep the other tribes from coming in, killing you and killing our sons and raping us and then taking us and putting us into their tribal population. Okay. Absolutely not egalitarian. Absolutely not like hippie peacenik, everybody's penises and vaginas. Absolutely not. You know how you know that? Because there's this little thing called jealousy. Jealousy is an evolutionary feature, not a bug. When men and women get jealous, they get jealous for different reasons. And we still are jealous today. And I'll tell you what, every time I've heard guys like this talk about jealousy, they think it's because of society. Oh, you're just insecure. Jealousy is just an insecurity. No, it's not. It's an evolutionary adaptation. And it was been passed along from generation to generation. Why? Because it worked. Because you couldn't tell paternity. Women would go out of their way to make sure that you didn't know whether the kid was yours or not, because infanticide. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit, because we're going to also talk about bonobos and talk about chimps and bonobos and gorillas here in just a moment, who also, oddly enough, get jealous. I don't know if you knew this, but perhaps, yeah.
Jealousy invokes action.
It does. Yes, it does. Actually, it prompts behavior.
Yep.
Absolutely prompts behavior.
Okay. Now, my theory is when we went from being tribal, where women could have lots of sex with lots of partners, and Mother Nature loved that. We men could just be lazy, clumsy lovers. All we really had to do was stick it in, come, roll over, and go to sleep. Our job was done. Mother Nature,
ejaculate and evacuate,
was completely satisfied with the job we'd done. So what if, for most of culture, women not only had access to every man?
There's that word, culture, not evolution, not biology, culture. Listen to the words being chosen here. This is how you know a guy's policing his words. This is how you know a guy is preaching from his own perspective here. Nothing like I can't think of a worse analysis than this hypothesis right here. It's already been debunked, by the way. I know where he's grabbing this from, the idea that human beings and bonobos are like genetic and evolutionary ancestors, which is funny to me, because everything's society until it's, oh well, we 10,000 years ago we lived in egalitarian, I don't know, sex communes or something like that. No, we didn't. But it's, I love it when guys like tell me women are just as sexual or more sexual than men are. No, that's a biological impossibility. Because until women can produce, I don't know, 12 to 17 times the natural serum testosterone that men have, and it was much higher 10,000 years ago, what would that inspire? Aggression and sexual desire, right? Until women can produce that naturally, there will never be as sexual as men. They will never want to fuck as much as men. I brought this up on Access Vegas a couple times. We had one girl that was on here, and she was on HGH.
Ooh, shit.
Yeah, and some other gear. What's her stack? And I said, and I asked her this because I've encountered this before, like women who go on like Anadrol or Anavar, or they go on like, I don't know, Masteron or something like something that's, maybe low, like even just low dosage, anabolic or androgenic. They start doing that. Like, do you feel like fucking more? She's like, I can't believe you guys live like this. I can't believe men live like this.
We have the blue balls concept for
Yeah.
a reason.
Yeah. They don't like if you talk to a female bodybuilder who's on gear, the first thing she'll say is, I can't believe how horny I am. And like, they'll be like talking to guys that they would in no way find attractive. And suddenly they want to fuck these guys because they're on gear. Right. And so testosterone has something to do with it. That's a biological agent that has something to do with the way you feel about your sexuality, right? So to say that women are just as sexual as men is a lie. A lie. Are women more sexual than most men understand or would like to believe? Yes, absolutely. They're more sexual, but they're never as sexual or never desiring sex as much as a man does, because it is a physical, biological impossibility. Unless they're on gear, unless they're on Anavar, So to make that, and he's made that claim several times, and he blames it on society. No, dude, it's not about that. It's because women have a greater investment in reproduction than men do. That's why. That's why women. It's not because of society. Although when you look at society as we want to find a pure woman who is like untouched. We want virgin brides. The reason for that is not because of society. It's because we want to know the baby is ours. It's paternity. It's understand, like up until 1975, when we got DNA testing and stuff like that, men didn't know, unless you're white and the baby comes out black, you don't know that the baby's not yours.
It's resource protection.
Yes, exactly. And that, again, let's go back. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to jealousy really quick. When men get jealous, what are they jealous about? What's the first thing out of their mouths? Did you fuck him? Did you get off? Does he have a bigger dick? Did you come? Was it here on the table? Was it on the couch in there? Was it in the bathroom? Was it over here? Was he better than me? Did you suck his dick? Like, they want details. Why do they want details? Because they're interested in the paternity. They want to know if the baby that's going to be possibly come out of them is not going to be theirs. Because if it is, they're out. They're going to be a single month, then they're gone. That's what the infidelity. You want to know why men in a patriarchal society place such high value on paternity. That's why. It's their DNA. I don't want to spend the rest of my life being a cuckold. That's what you've just made me. You've made me a cuckold because of that. So if there's a baby that comes out of you, if there by chance you got off and he got off and there's a baby inside of you, I don't want to be responsible for a child that's not mine. That is a quote unquote bastard child, a fatherless child, even though women know who the father is, right? So it's not society. It's not guys being insecure or anything like that. It's very pragmatic. It's very practical. We want to know that the baby that comes out of you is ours. That's all of you. Body count. The only reason anybody is even, I don't know anybody who's like more obsessed with body count, than red pill guys or whatever, incels, whatever we're gonna call them. Like in the real world, nobody gives two flying fucks about body count.
No one has.
But the people who do aren't doing it because because they've been conditioned by society to be more sensitive to a woman who, she can't pair bond with me. They don't care about that. Pair bonding is the last thing on their minds. You know what the first thing is? Paternity. Is the kid that comes out of there, is that going to be my kid? That's what it is. And when we talk, you want to know why DNA tests at birth will never be a thing? That's why. Because we still want to maintain that mystery. We still want to run cover for women's reproductive choices. That's why you can't get a freaking DNA test in France or in Europe or something like that. That's why you like, I loved it when we were talking about, like, I think it was Utah or it was maybe Florida that was talking about how if a woman is pregnant, then the guy who is the father has to pick up the bill while she's in prenatal, where the baby's still being gestated, right? And I'm like, I'm 100% for that. If you can DNA test that baby and make sure that that guy is the father. If he's not, you pay him back.
Exactly.
You give him all that money back. He's owed that money back. So he better be the fucking father. If you put that in the bill, I vote for it right now. Won't happen. Never fucking happen. Because once your name goes on that birth certificate, you're the father, unless you contest it, and most guys won't. And even if they did, they'd be like, well, I'm doing the noble right thing by, being a cuck, essentially, right? And that's all, that's all really Robert Glover is, because he's happy he gets off on the fact that his wife goes and bangs other guys. And I'm going to explain to you why he can get over that jealousy thing. Now, going back to jealousy, what do women get jealous about? Are you in love with her? Do you have emotional connection to her? I know women who have divorced their husbands because they had an emotional affair, not a physical, but they put their dick inside that chick, but they had an emotional affair. They were talking, and it was like more of a communication connection.
Always in the workplace too.
Yes. Workplace, or it can happen online too, but they'll divorce their husbands over an emotional affair. Why? Because the emotional side of it, the falling in love side of it, is more important than the sex side of it. Women are far more forgiving of infidelity, like the actual physical act, than they are of losing resources because that guy fell in love with that chick. And now he's got another baby mama. Oh my God, he impregnated this other woman and he's in love with her. I'm out and she's in. She doesn't ask, where did you fuck? Did you have it on the table? Did all this stuff? They don't ask those questions. They don't care about it. In fact, when women are grilled, when women cheat and they get grilled by their husbands or their boyfriends, like, where did you do it? Why'd you? And they'd be like, why are you asking all of these questions? Why do you care? Why? They don't understand. And it's hard because they have to relive it, right? Did you get off? Does he have bigger dick? Does you suck him off? Did you they'll run down all the details. Why are you making me relive this? Because that emotional thing that they don't care. They don't understand. Yeah. To them, they don't care. It wasn't about the act. Like it's not the act. It's about the love and the emotions and everything. Now, if the guy said, "Do you love him?" Like, then he's like asking a female. He's jealous from a female. The guys don't do this. But if he would have asked something like that, then she would be like, well, yeah, or no. Like she could gel with that. But like when the guy gets down into the nitty gritty, the nuts and bolts of everything that have the visceral, sex side of it, that's when they lose their shit. That's the difference. I don't know if I've ever described that before. That's the difference between male jealousy and female jealousy. Both of them, both jealousies, male and female, bird hand, sorry. Both of those are directed by men and women's reproductive imperatives. What's most important to a man? Paternity. What's most important to a woman? Long-term security and resource maintenance, resource security, right? Do you love her? Okay, well, if I say yes, then you're losing resources and you're losing that long-term security. You're out in the cold. You could get out of my house. I'm going to bring this other bitch in, right? That's the worry. That's the concern. For the guy, it's your baby. And you're going to be taking care of it for the rest of your life, whether you realize that it's yours or it's not. And you can't get a DNA test or whatever else, right? So you have to decide whether it's yours or not. And so if she cheats, that's pretty much confirmation that the baby that comes out might not be yours. So that's why those are the differences between two. But they're both driven by biological reproductive imperatives. That's why. That is what exists. That's why there's not dicks and penises or penises and vaginas. That's why it's not like bonobo sex for men and women, because we have too much at stake.
There's boundaries.
And it's not about society. It's not about social constructionism. It's about simple fucking biology. Wrap your head around it now. It's practical. I keep saying this and over. It's not going to be evolutionary psychology that proves the red pill. It's going to be evo biology that proves the red pill. The other thing is when we're talking about promiscuity and monogamy is not natural. No, monogamy is absolutely natural. So is promiscuity. Did you know this? That I've seen this. I got to dig up the studies once again. That the human female ovum can select different sperm at the site of conception. And they do it through proteins or something like that. It's not so much like accepting it, it just slows down the sperm that's not as desirable and speeds up the sperm that is desirable through like proteins and stuff like that. So that the likelihood of a particular kind of sperm gets through to fertilize the egg rather than this other sperm. Why would that be?
Already picking the best ones.
Why would there be an evolutionary adaptation of a human ovum to either through chemical or means to select between sperm? Why? Because there's going to be competing sperm at the conception site, meaning more than one guy fucked her, or maybe at the same time. Who knows, right? So promiscuity, yes, there were absolutely. But we're also critters that invest in our young. Our babies have big heads. We rely on our. I know this sounds counterintuitive, but human beings actually rely on our intelligence, and that means we have to have very large skulls. I could go back and rehash the big head babies speech once again, but the fact of the matter is that human infants are effectively helpless. They can't feed themselves. They've got to suck on mommy's tit. They've got to be taken care of for at least 5 to 7 years before they can even put food in their mouths, man. Whereas if you look at like a giraffe, or if you look at a horse, right? A horse is born, half an hour later, the horse can run. So that's low investment. That horse can get away from danger if it follows mommy, right? It can eat. It doesn't have to worry about it. It can just get up and go. Now, is it as intelligent as a human? No, they're pretty smart horses. You got to be fucking Mr. Ed. But the fact of the matter is that human beings and primates in general invest in their offspring, and they have to protect, provide, and be invested in that offspring for years. So what benefits? What's the benefit of that? Not promiscuity. The benefit of that is monogamy. There has to be, at least for a time being, the male has to be invested in the female until he can protect and make sure that female is okay and his offspring are okay. That's why you've got alpha males. That's why you got alpha male silverback gorilla. He's going to go and defend his harem. He's going to defend his offspring until he gets taken down by another rival, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that monogamy is also part of our algorithm. Promiscuity, yes. Monogamy, yes. They can both be true at the same time. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And then we would not exist. I would not be here. You would not be here if your mom didn't care for you. You would not be here if your dad didn't put bread on the table and make you eat, right? You got medical insurance, you got whatever the fuck it is. Like whatever qualifies as protection or provisioning today. You would not be here if it were not for your parents. And you're the product of your parents. Even if they abandoned you, you're still a product of your parents or whoever protected you and helped ensured your survival. So yeah, monogamy is natural and promiscuity is also natural. They can be true at the same time. All right, let's keep going.
Maybe frequently, multiple. And what if when the men were off hunting and gathering and they were sitting around trying to figure out, what are we going to do to pass the time? When are they coming back? Are they going to have food? Are they going to have furs? Are they going to come fuck us? And their bodies are literal pleasure palaces. They have places on their bodies that can trigger orgasms, their breasts, their lips. I've known women that could orgasm just by thinking. They can have orgasms over and over.
Wait a minute.
We
Wait, what? Ladies, put a 1 in the chat if you've ever had an orgasm just by thinking about it. Imagine that. Imagine you're on you're running Anavar. You're like, what happened? Nothing. I'm fine. What the flying fuck, man? Oh, they could. It's. I hope Coral Osborne is watching this right now. I really do. Coral, you fill me in here. You're the sexologist. You're the expert on female bodies and everything like that. Can a woman get off just by thinking about it? Ladies, put a 1 in the chat if you've ever got off just by thinking about it. Some liars.
Men can't do that. right? We're not wired for it. We're wired to ejaculate and be done, right? Women, no. So it wasn't until we became patriarchal ownership society. Men decided, oh, we don't need to live as a tribe. We don't need to share everything. We don't need to have sexual access to every woman. Let's just own a piece of land, own a tree, own a goat, a cow, own a woman, own her vagina, own the kids that come out of her vagina. That's patriarchy. That's ownership. Okay. Some of our brilliant forefathers thought that was a better plan.
Okay, once again, let's go back to the beginning here. Patriarchy is downstream from biology, Robert. Patriarchy is a means of organizing society. Why? Because men are harder, men are tougher, men have more muscles, men have more dominance, men have, like, the thing that gets me is the dude is making all of these, like, it's basically social constructionism. He's making error after error after error here. So I'm going to throw out a couple of ideas here, but the thing is, I got to give you the patriarchy speech here. I've heard women say exactly the same thing. Well, you know, we were all just free-loving hippies and egalitarian, you know, bonobos living in peace and harmony and just fucking wantonly fucking on everything. The thing is, the funny thing about bonobos is they're very territorial. They're very hypergamous. They're actually very violent too. They're not peace-loving, you know, egalitarians, you know, waiting for the next tribe to come in and just rip them a new one. All right. So when we're talking about patriarchy is a balanced system. It is the most natural system. That's why we opted for it. Because women need what? Women are the vulnerable sex. Men are the disposable sex. The more testosterone a man has, the lower his immunities are. That's why when a guy has a chiseled jaw, or he looks like he's yoked or whatever else, he looks like he has, like, those are cues. Those are visual cues of high testosterone. High testosterone means what? Aggression. It means dominance. It means muscularity. It means physical prowess. Okay. Those are qualities that can be fit into the category of protection and provisioning as well, if it comes down to hunting skills and stuff like that. So the things that, like, women get off on, proximately, the things that women like, they like broad shoulders, like a V taper, like six-pack abs. They like a certain look to your ass or whatever else. Looks like you have thrusting power, right? That kind of shit. Height, for example, is another one. Like, why is it, like, we joke around about how women want to get a guy who's like 6 feet tall, who a 6 foot tall guy is what, 14%, 16% of the population. And then taller than that, it's even more rare. But that's what women want. Why do they want that? Because of biology. Because it's not because society convinced them that they should be with a tall dude. It's because that's what they want. That's what they feel. They want a guy with six-pack abs. They want a guy with V taper. Why? Because society convinced them that that's what they ought to want? No. It's because that's what looks like a guy who's going to be physically dominant. He looks like somebody who's going to protect, provide, and hopefully be parentally invested in her. Like I said before, like, when women, you want to know why women are so like, women don't just wantonly fuck anybody. They have to, they're more selective. They're more picky. They have to be, because even if they pick the right guy, that dude could die and she's dead too. At least in our ancestral 10,000 years ago, you know, in our ancestral past. Biology is downstream from how we organize society. Biology is downstream from families. Biology is downstream from society. Biology is downstream from patriarchy is downstream from biology. So patriarchy is just a way of organizing a society. Matriarchy, so the difference is this: there's androcentrism, there's gynocentrism, then there's patriarchy, and then there's matriarchy. Patriarchy is the most natural, evolved way of organizing society. It is hierarchical. It is the way that men organize society. Women organize society in the round, which is what he's been arguing for since he started this thing, 4 minutes ago. So he's basically arguing for egalitarianism as being the most natural. Egalitarianism and promiscuity and just penises and vaginas, that's been his MO for the entirety of the video, really. But the fact of the matter, we're spinning plates, and these guys think that, you know, body count makes a difference, and they're just insecure because society makes them. It's not society; it is biology, and that's why patriarchy is the most natural thing, because it serves both men and women. Why? Let me explain. Patriarchy is the most balanced system. I'm going to channel turd flinking monkey. Thank you very much. Patriarchy is the most balanced way of organizing society and has been this way right up until the sexual revolution, right up until the advent of hormonal birth control, and everything went out the fucking window. That's why you get guys that like this right now. You wouldn't hear a guy like Robert Glover prior to 1965. So let's just go down the patriarchy. Patriarchy is more balanced. Why? Because it puts responsibility with authority. So if we're going to be, if as a man, as a patriarch, as a father, as a guy who has formed a family, who has monogamously done this, not because he goes, I need a woman and I'm going to take her and I need my kids and I need everything to be all within my that's the most natural way of thinking about it for men. That's just how it works. If a guy could get 3 wives, he would do the same fucking thing. So the thing is that patriarchy is more balanced than what we have now for certainly feminism, certainly gynocentrism, because gynocentrism supports responsibility with no authority, which is the definition of slavery. So men are still responsible for births. They're still responsible for kids. They're still responsible for keeping a wife. They're still responsible for all the things that patriarchy would make them responsible for, but they don't give them the authority to affect that. Under patriarchy, men had that authority. And that's what rubs women raw today. So if I say, well, I'm a patriarch, I have to be responsible for my kids. I have to be responsible for my wife. I've got to make enough money. I got to be responsible for my dogs. I got to be responsible for the people I work with. I got to be responsible for not my family, my mom and dad, her mom and dad, because now we've blended families together. I might be the patriarch of this family, but I still have responsibilities to not only my family, but my clan and her clan, right? That's what marriage is. It's a mixing of the clans. And so if I'm responsible for all of that, if you think about the patriarchs of the Old Testament, Abraham and Sarah, right? Abraham and Sarah. And then concubines, maidservants, manservants, goats, herds, all this other shit that he has to be responsible for. And if a son or a daughter or even one of his employees, one of his servants goes off the reservation or commits a crime or whatever, they're responsible for it, yes, but also the patriarch is responsible for it because he wasn't there to keep that motherfucker in line, right? So I have to be responsible. Like now let's take it up to modern times, right? We think of patriarchy as like 1950s Leave It to Beaver, father knows best bullshit, okay? That's like romanticized era. That's why I keep saying we don't have a pendulum. We're not going to swing back to the 1950s and father knows best, okay? That's not going to happen. But the thing is that was when patriarchy sort of came into its own, or people like modern feminism or militant feminism of the late 60s and early 70s harken back to the 50s because they thought that was imprisonment and enslavement of women in that wifely role, right? Which is exactly what he's talking about here, which is I want to keep everything. I'm possessive. I'm going to keep all this stuff instead of sharing my wife, instead of giving her away in a fucking open relationship, instead of letting her go on Tinder and find a dude to fuck, right? All of that came after the sexual revolution. This is why these guys think about history in terms of these, free love communes of just, penises and vaginas. That's not how it ever was. It was always patriarchy in some way, shape, or form. And what happens is the men who were the patriarchs were still responsible for the children, for the wife, but they also had the authority to make that fucking happen. That's why women respected their husbands way more than they do today, because they were in a system that took care of them, provided for them in an ideal sense, okay? A lot of people say, well, you're a tyrant because you have the authority and you just want to lord over women. No, that's not what it's about. I don't want to lord over my wife. I don't want to say, I want to rule with an iron fist, right? My wife asks me, I'll give you an example. My wife will ask me if it's okay if she buys like cosmetics, right? Oh, it's going to be $120. Yeah, buy it. Go ahead, but because she has that sort of like masculine patriarchal respect for me, she asks me when it comes to, she's not going to ask me to buy groceries, but like if it's like some sort of purchase or something like that, she'll just politely ask me like, I'm going to buy this. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay, fine. But like, it's not even an annoyance. It's just like, I expect it to happen. Right. But the thing is when somebody who wants to think of organizing society in egalitarian terms, they're going to look at that and they're going to go, you really must like rule over her with an iron fist. No, I don't. I didn't tell her to do that. She just does that. Why? Well, because she has masculine respect for me. She, like her father was very much an alpha male. So that's what she's expecting from me, and that's what I deliver. Okay. So I have the authority in that sense for a purchase. Okay. Now, am I going to tell her no? Fuck no. She can go get the Mary Kay. I want to buy lingerie and a new sexy swimsuit. Well, let me think about that. No. But the fact that that's even a thing would be off-putting to a guy like this. Everything's penises and vaginas. That only happened after the sexual revolution. That's what the 70s were about, man. It was Studio 54. until HIV was a thing, it was penises and vaginas, man. It was like, you love the one you're with. And that's really a modern contrivance, a modern way of thinking, a post-sexual revolution way of thinking. Prior to all this, man, the generations that came before hormonal birth control would never, this wouldn't even be a conversation. They wouldn't even know to talk about this. But to us, we think, oh my God, they were so antiquated. No, they weren't. They were just in a system that worked. Why did it work? Because the patriarch was responsible and had the authority to enforce and affect that responsibility. If you're going to hold me responsible, I need to be able to have the authority to make that responsibility, to enact that responsibility. That's why guys don't want to get married today. That's why, because men have more freedom, they have more maneuverability, they're more productive, they make more money, they make outside of marriage than they will inside of marriage, because marriage implies a risk. People say, well, you'll make more money when you're married. Yeah, because you have to. You have to make, otherwise you're not married. If you're not making money as a man and you're not making more than your wife, odds are you're divorced. It's a simple definition. So when you listen to guys who talk about who talk in terms of egalitarianism, the thing is like they're kind of coming at this from the male feminist perspective. They're trying to identify with the feminine. They're trying to think, okay, well, women are egalitarian. Women are more communal. Women are more communitarian. If I am more communitarian, or I want to buy into this, bonobo bullshit, that's going to make me better off in girl world, in a gynocentric social order, because that's another way of organizing society, through gynocentrism. A matriarchy is a way to do it, but matriarchies have never existed. Gynocentrism has definitely existed. Androcentrism, which is all authority and no responsibility for men. Gynocentrism, all responsibility and no authority, all responsibility and no authority for men. For androcentrism, it's no responsibility and all authority for men. Those are two. I've actually written like several essays about this. Those are two different things. There's a difference between androcentrism and gynocentrism, and patriarchy and matriarchy. Patriarchy implies that you're still responsible for the people that you're responsible for, and you have the authority to enact that. Under androcentrism, it doesn't matter. You have no responsibility and you have all authority, which is the definition of what? Tyranny. That's what militant feminists of the 1970s wanted to say patriarchy really was. They just conflated those two terms. At the same time, they're promoting gynocentrism, not matriarchy, gynocentrism, which is all authority and no responsibility for women. You want to know why women are so they're unaccountable. We need to hold them accountable. The reason why that's even a thing online is because we live in a gynocentric social order. Because it's all authority for women and no responsibility, no accountability, no liability. And if there is, we defer that. We push that off to men. Well, in fact, I just saw this. It was, thank you for this, by the way, Brian from whatever podcast. There was this one chick who was talking about, no one ever talks about all the guilt and all of the mental anguish and emotional trauma that is caused by guys who we have to reject.
What?
Yeah. So here's the scenario. A guy goes, makes an approach. She has to say, I'm sorry, no, can we just be friends? Blah, blah, blah. Apparently that is traumatic, emotionally damaging. Wait, where's the emotional damage? Oh, God damn it.
It's gone.
It's gone again. I have emotion. Oh, I mean, I don't know if I have it on this one. But it's this is better.
Man, bro, I don't get no hoes, man.
That's even better. but apparently it's emotionally damaging to have to reject a guy, and nobody's sympathetic for women. Nobody's empathetic for women for having to do that. And I'm just like, that is like essentially what you're saying is you ladies, well, this lady, I don't know, I can't like tar every woman with this, but well, essentially what she's saying is we need to have sympathy for her having no sympathy.
Wow.
for a guy. That's I need like counseling and therapy because this guy approached me and I had to give him a rejection, and nobody ever talks about that. I'm just like, holy fuck. You want to talk about no responsibility and all authority? All authority is expecting anyone to have sympathy for this woman and her mental anguish and trauma for having rejected the guy in the first place. And I should also point out, these are the same bitches that will talk about, oh, you just need to go out and approach more. You guys just need to get out there in the field and you know, girls want to be asked out, blah, blah, blah. Until they don't, and then you cause them mental anguish. It's not even worrying about like, you know, assault charges or like creeping or stalking or whatever else. It's about the emotional trauma that accompanies her having to reject you. Go figure. Let's keep going here.
Than what we had before. I'm not sure who thought that one up or why they thought it was a good idea. I kind of like the idea we share everything and have access. And so basically, sexual access got cut off to most men. And
okay, did you catch that? Did you catch that? He happens to like the idea. Oops, let me stop this for a second. I forgot I was feeding it there. All right. So that's part one. Here's part two. Now, later on, he starts talking about spinning plates. I'll get into that too. This is just a rehash of licking the ice cream. Okay. You got all you plate spinning guys, you know, you say you want to have a monogamous chick, but you don't really want to have a monogamous girl. You just want to spin plates. Okay. And you're licking the ice cream and you're ruining women for us normies. Essentially, that's what it boils. It's basically the same thing that Hafiz came up with, you know, way back in the day. But I want to see if I got this here. I think I put it in videos. Oops, wait a minute. That's not it. Maybe it's in here. Oh, it's probably in here. Right. Oh God, I still have Tommy Laren's like meltdown video in here. Let's see, where did I put you? Oh, here we go. Much better. All right, this is it. You'll get this within the first like 3 minutes of this video.
You know, in my open relationships, one of the things I noticed was that, you know, I suffered with, you know, real hard jealousy as well. And one of the things I did to overcome this or tackle this is, you know, I went down the route of open relationships, and it was tough. It was tough that, you know, the first girl I had an open relationship with, she was really transparent, really honest. She wouldn't hide. She wouldn't, you know, say anything. And what I realized was, over time, it was the openness that allowed me to kind of like sit back and relax. I know she was with one of our partners. And what I noticed was when I was in the open relationships and I had multiple partners, the one thing that drove my partners nuts, it wasn't the fact that I was seeing other girls. It was the fact that when she was upset, then I will start filtering myself, holding myself. Like, and what I noticed was that's what was really pissing her off. Not the fact that, you know, she kind of like, okay, there was a section.
Notice how cerebral these guys get about like jealousy. That's essentially what the problem he has is jealousy. I'll dig that out here in just a second, but I just wanted to just give you a reminder.
Desire of like, cool, he's a stud, he's going out. There was a sexual fantasy about him making out with another girl. But what was the difficult part for her, and actually even me, is that fact that when secrecy was there, that was the hardest thing to you know, take in that part.
Yeah. Can you guys see that this secrecy part is probably the most toxic part of everything we're talking about? And Faisal, yeah, I don't know in your context, but I've worked with a number of people who either have been or are in open relationships. And almost everyone will tell some story of cheating, even when the people can have sex with whoever they want, within whatever parameters they've set up. And I'm not calling my wife out, but my wife can do anything and everything she wants. And there's been a couple of occasions she withheld information from me. And I asked her later, why did you do that? You don't have to. I mean, I even one time even said, there's something about your story that doesn't ring true. And my wife's a very honest person. I couldn't do this with her, right? And she said, no, I told you the truth. And then like later that afternoon, so within 4 hours, she comes back to me and says, can we talk? and she told me the whole truth. And she'd even told me some lies. She fabricated some lies in this story. And I said, why did you do that? I said, you don't have to. I said, I will say yes to anything, you tell me. And, it's okay. I said, I get turned on by it. I said, why would you keep it from me and lie? And she said, because I had shame. Because I had shame. And, so our kind of like you were, Faisal, trying to work, one of the things you were working on was probably just sexual novelty, but probably also, okay, I'm going to work on my jealousy in this.
There it is. There. Well, I'll keep going with this in just a second, but I want to point this out that he's been on. This is one of like 4. This was actually the most mild. I tried to because I don't want to talk about people's wives, but I tried to find the one that was as sort of less egregious as the rest of them. But there's at least 4 videos of him, probably more than that, basically explaining that his open relationship, which essentially makes him a cuck. I mean, it really. And the idea that some other dude, Raylan, he wants to hear it. He wants the stories. He wants to know. He wants his wife to tell him about her sexual experiences because it turns him on. What is he going to whack off to? I guess. Is this the penises and vaginas thing? Is this the bonobos thing? I mean, I'd really like to know. Oh, by the way, I'm going to throw this in the chat here really quick. This is a really good. There we go. Article on why bonobos aren't actually hippies. Okay, there's a really great book that I forget the name of the author now, but it's called The Naked Bonobo. Somebody can look that up if they want. It's called The Naked Bonobo. It came out, I think, in 2015 or 2016, and it entirely debunks everything that was in Sex at Dawn. And again, I know I have heard Robert utilize Sex at Dawn. I've heard Rich Cooper talk about Sex at Dawn, and I had to say, you might want to back up off of that because all those bonobo studies, they're written from a perspective that's really not true. And there's been so much other, parts of the, field studies and observations. I only want to point out, I threw this link in the chat here. The reason, the second reason I did this is because I'm pretty sure they didn't ask the bonobos to come into the research facility and do a survey. Okay. I'm pretty sure they didn't say, well, do you fuck on, this day or that day? They're not asking the bonobos questions. What they're doing is they're going out into the field and observing, I think they said something like 12 male bonobos. I want to point out also that there's this other field of study or another way to do research, and it's called field research. Will Costello, field research, Alex from Date Psych, field research, Mac and Murphy. Going out and observing things. And if you think that is less of a science or that's a less of a reliable methodology, just take that up with, Dr. Diane Fossey or Dr. What's her face? I forget the name of her now, from Gorillas in the Mist, right? Go take that up. Oh, thanks for that, Sammy, for putting that up in there. So let me just throw that. I'm going to put him back in here, but Robert Glover is in an open relationship, and essentially he's probably not the best guy to be taking advice from. I'm just going to lay that one out there. I'm pretty sure people can correct me on this. I might get this wrong, and I will definitely put a retraction out if I am wrong, but I think that his wife was a Mexican housekeeper that he ended up pulling out of housekeeping thing and ended up wifing her up. I don't know if that was like a foreign bride situation or something like that, but apparently now she is also, maybe that was his first wife. I don't know. Apparently she is now, let's just say in an open relationship with Dr. Robert Glover. I want to ask you guys a question. I mean, I'm not going to do the one in the chat thing or anything like this, but like, imagine me, who's been like, I'm coming up on 29 years of marriage. Okay. Never fucked around, never been in an open relationship. I am boring as fuck. I am vanilla as fuck, right? Like my only kink is lingerie. That's it. Nothing else. Just wear something sexy and let's go, right? I'm pretty good that way. Okay. I mean, you guys know what I do for a living. You guys know that I'm on Access Vegas. You guys know that I do this. Well, I live in Las Vegas. Okay. I could be living the quote unquote lifestyle, right? It's not a problem. There's plenty of sex clubs in Las Vegas. I've never once even suggested something like that because I'm not going to deal with that. And I think one of the things that gets going here, and he's going to talk about jealousy here in just a minute. That's why I kind of preempted you guys with the jealousy speech. Yes, I like skinny girls. I do. I like spinners. What the fuck? Hold on. Wait a minute. This is too good not to put on. We're all like skinny girls like I do. But yeah. Sartain's boobs, man. It's funny. I told, we were like, every now and then, like Michael, like if a chick likes me, he'll tell me, right? He'll say, oh, that girl likes you. I go, yeah, of course she's like thin as a rail, right? Or the black girls. That black girl liked you. All right, nice. But then, of course, Mike has a certain, let's say, body habitus that he's more apt to like involve himself with than others, and that's like girls with big, like huge, 2,600 cc's. No, maybe not that big. Not balloons, but I've seen him with with Isabella. God, Jesus Christ. But anyways, I was joking with him one time, and I said, Mike, I said, big boobs are to you what thigh gap is to me. And that's sort of been how we've been working it for a long time. But anyways, the problem that the guy that he's talking to with there, there's a reason I chose this video above all the other ones. He's an admitted cuck. Or let's just start with that. So any guy who wants to tell you about the red pill or wants to talk about like, I don't know, spinning plates or whatever his concept is of spinning plates is probably, let's just say, colored by his need to broadcast a new program, which is what he's doing. If you're on his mailing list, you already got them. Somebody sent me this. You got the emails of him with this new course and how to be a cuck, because I don't know what else it would be about. But that's like Destiny kind of shit. Like there's a reason Destiny has been divorced. There's a reason why Destiny is where he is. Okay. There's a reason why he's a sex pest. And I mean that. There's a reason why he should be on a sex offenders list if he's not already. Not so erudite should also be in jail. She's an accomplice to his crimes, but that's neither here nor there. But why are we? I mean, let's just ask the question: why are you paying for advice from cucks? Because that's essentially what you'd be doing here. I have Reignite. That's my only thing. That's guys getting together and we're talking about stuff and we're trying to help guys individually on that. You're never going to see me like throwing out a 12-step or 12 rules for Reignite or 7 tips for getting a 22-year-old bitch. Right? Like that's not my. They laugh at me and Joe Marron's team always laughs at me because like I'm anti-marketing. My marketing is anti-marketing. I think more people are more attracted to honesty and sort of like delivering. Like, I'm going to tell you what it's about right now. It's just guys getting together and hanging out and talking. I'll do a classroom setting if you want me to. But we don't do a classroom setting. We sit at a table. We sit at a dining room table and we talk. A big long table, or maybe a little longer than this. We sit at a table and we talk about stuff. We talk, what are you going through? What are you dealing with? Because I want to help guys individually with their own individual problems, right? There's the red pill is not one size fits all, which is what a lot of guys want to claim that it is. They would like to say, oh, these guys they're contradicted. They want to spin plates and they want you to get with the right woman. Yeah, both can be true at the same fucking time. So let me continue with this because I want to get back to the jealousy part here.
The mantra my wife and I have had we've been doing this for about 2.5 years now, of her side of the relationship being open. I won't go into the whole backstory. But
okay. Did you catch that? Her side of the relationship is open, not his. Hers. You like that? This is the guy you're going to take. You're going to sign up for a course. This is an admitted cuck. Is a guy that who's going to like help you change your life for the better. All right, let's keep going.
But it came with a revelation after her and I did ayahuasca, and she told me things about her life.
Oh my God.
You know, you shouldn't have to dampen down your sexual desires and who you are to be with me, because my sexual desires can't match yours.
Yeah, they can. God, look at that face. I should have used that as the thumbnail. I might use that as a thumbnail still. Dude, ayahuasca? Really? There's going to be people in the comments. Yeah, dude, I use ayahuasca and it opened my, it's a universe expansion tool. No, it turns your brain into silly putty is what it does.
Made you
I have done like LSD before. I've done mushrooms before. I've never done ayahuasca. Maybe it's a different experience, but that's an experience you should probably, like, if you're going to mess with psychoactive drugs, that's something you need to do when you're 19. That's when your brain's fresh. You know, you can recover brain plasticity. Your brain can snap back from it, right? Because if you do ayahuasca at his age, this is what you look like. Oh my God.
And, you know, she likes both sexes. I can't be both sexes to her. But there's that piece.
There's also the piece that she's not attracted to you and aroused by you anymore. That might have something to do with it. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here. That's probably the reason. It's not about her. Well, she's got a much higher libido than I. Get the fuck out of here. Like if she was bringing, like she likes girls. Is she bringing chicks home to bang? I don't think so. I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't know what their activities are. But I can tell you this is like, it's open on her and it's closed on his. Maybe that's not the case. So, and he's very open and very proud of it. This is the guy you want to pay for advice from. Really?
And so, but our mantra has been, let's use each other. Let's gift each other that we're going to support each other in cleaning out all sexual guilt and shame. So when I asked her, why did you lie to me when you didn't have to? She goes, well, I had shame. Tuve vergüenza. Vergüenza is shame. And I said, okay, let's work on that. And so that was my response. Let's work on the shame, because it's the shame that leads us to acting badly. Let's clear the shame out. And then it's easy to be a transparent, open book and behave well, to behave within our own standards that we've set for ourselves in the relationship. So I love, Faisal, what you said, that you used the sexual dynamic to go to work on other, seemingly peripheral issues. Because if you look at most of kind of the big hitters in terms of people that, really talk about how to get to the depth of human change, they usually talk about using a portal of sexuality. Freud did, of course.
That's a good example.
Eastern,
All right, let's pull him out of there. Put me back in. There we go. So this is the guy you're going to pay. This is the guy who's talking shit about spinning plates. Is that not what your wife is doing? Your wife is spinning plates. You are not. You're monogamous and she's not. He was just talking shit about monogamy in the other video, wasn't he? I mean, it's not natural. Well, apparently it is for you. It's just not natural for the gal that you have is your wife, right? Fine, cool. I mean, again, I'm not talking shit about anybody's wife. Okay. I don't want anybody talking shit about my wife. I wouldn't want to talk shit about your wife, but let's just look at the situation. Can we talk about the situation? All right. The situation is this. It's jealousy. Once again, coming back to jealousy, he started with this and I'm just going to finish on it. The reason why guys can get into this and can get off on this. And I'm going to remember when I said, we're going to start talking about why cuckold porn is such a big deal right now, because what happens is it plays on the jealousy instinct. Okay. It's wrong not to be jealous. It's wrong, especially for men, because men I think men experience, like I said, they certainly experience jealousy in a much different way. But I think men's jealousy is much more intense than women's jealousy. Women's jealousy, like I said, is about, oh, are you loving? Do you love her? Am I going to lose? Am I going to lose? They're not like raging about the sexual act. They're like worried that they're going to lose everything. Or maybe it's time to check out of the, maybe she's not into you and she's never wanted to fuck you. You took it upon yourself to go get a hand job from fucking some Thai massage place. And now you've cheated, right? Because you spewed she gave you a tug job, right? And now that's sexual infidelity. And the Bible says I can ditch you. And so therefore I'm out. Or shit, I don't even have to do that. You could just have an emotional affair and now I'm out, right? So if a woman's looking for an exit, she's going to probably use that, like the infidelity, as a way to take half of what you have. That's why divorce exists, to ensure long-term security for women and children in the form of child support, right? Offspring. That's why, I've talked to James Sexton, as you know, I've done interviews with him before. One of the things he was telling me is like our divorce laws are really predicated on 1930s like Depression era, like when men would leave their wives because they could no longer support the child, they could no longer support the woman, and so if there was going to be a divorce, she wasn't left on her own. There had to be child support, there had to be alimony, and alimony has been around for forever, but alimony it took a major shift during the Great Depression. And we still have those laws, are still legacy laws that we have today that really need to be adjusted. But they're never going to get adjusted because it means more money, and more money means more money for the attorneys. So if you have this amicable, we're going to have an amicable, friendly divorce. No, you're not. Not if you involve attorneys, because they're going to want to get as much money as they possibly can. So if you're the guy who makes a lot more money, if you're Jeff Bezos and your wife is Miss Sanchez. I don't know. Is she still going by Sanchez, or is she going? Is it Lawrence? It's Lawrence Sanchez. Now it's Lauren Bezos. You might want to. God, I've been waiting for the other shoe to drop on that. I hate to say it because there's been so many celebrities and athletes that will get into it. Brittany Renner is one, but there was a new one that I just saw on TMZ. I forget who it was. It was it was Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard. He doesn't play for the Magic anymore. He plays for somebody else.
I'm not.
Anyway, NBA. I don't know if he still even plays. Did he retire? Dwight Howard, anyways, was married. The chick was a hot piece of ass. 6 months later, divorced. She wants half. 6 months. We got to wait until because you could get an annulment at 6 months. I bet it was 6 months and 1 day. I guarantee you that's the way it worked. But seriously, though, what's happening here is jealousy, and it's eroticizing jealousy. How do I know this? Well, I'll tell you. Back in the day, I used to have exchanges with Dr. Jeffrey Miller and his wife, who was actually my friend before I even knew who Jeff was. And they were dating at the time, but Diana Fleischman, I was interested in her because she's a behavioral psychologist. And so we'd have I can follow her. But Jeff blocked me on Twitter like a long time ago. And the reason why he blocked me is because I called him out on his essentially evangelism for open relationships. So he was married to Diane Fleischman, who, by the way, still keeps her last name. And they're in an open relationship. To my knowledge, they're still in an open relationship right now. And the thing that got me is you had this otherwise brilliant evolutionary psychologist who, I have quoted his work in other aspects many, many times because I think he's got it right. The only thing I think he's got wrong is his just evangelism, like I said, for open relationships. The guy go look up anything with Jeff, Geoff Miller on YouTube, and you will find it'll probably lead off with him and his wife talking about how great and how natural and how perfect it is for couples to be in open relationships. Now, I think it's open on both of their sides, but in Glover's predicament, it's open for the wife, but it's not open for him. I'm wondering how that works. Why is that? Is it something that he initiated, or is it something that she initiated that he had to sort of rationalize? And that because he's a public figure, as I said in the beginning, because he's an influencer right now, he's got to find ways to sort of retcon his old work so that he can get into some new work, right? So how do you do that? Oh, throw the red pill under the bus. Same thing with Jeff Miller. Same thing with the rest of these guys. When it comes to the red pill being right, they're happy to be on board until their lifestyle conflicts with what the red pill is talking about. And that's why Jeff Miller blocked me back in 2015, 2016, and still has to this day. Because I called him out on that. I said, what about jealousy? You, as an evolutionary psychologist and at least a scholar of some sort of Evo bio as well, you understand that there is an innate jealousy response in men that is going to not be okay with an open relationship. It's not about ownership. It's not about being possessiveness. It's just wanting to know that the baby is your fucking baby. And the reason why you feel jealousy as a man is because it served your ancestors very well. You are the descendant of guys who got jealous because they wanted to know whether that baby was theirs or not. And if the woman cheated, he wanted to know, was it in the kitchen? Was it in the bathroom? Was it in the bedroom? Did he have a big dick? Blah, blah, blah. The reason why you're still here, your ancestors successfully bred that into you. That is a feature and not a jealousy is a feature, not a bug. It has served us here, served humanity very, very well. And I'm sick and fucking tired of people saying it's an insecurity. It's because of social constructionism. It's because of shame. No, it's because of fucking evolutionary biology. It's because 10,000 years ago, those motherfuckers, your great grandpa, all the way back to when you were living in caves, that dude got jealous. And he got jealous enough to go, bitch, that better be my kid. And guess what? You're the descendant of all those my kids all the way through your ancestral past. Congratulations. Jealousy works. Awesome. Embrace it. Lean into it. But you know what we're doing right now? We're eroticizing the jealousy response. And that's exactly what Dr. Jeffrey Miller and that's exactly what Robert Glover is doing right now. You got to lean into it, man. You got to you take ayahuasca and you won't be jealous anymore, right? You'll see, Jesus, and he'll tell you, don't be jealous. It's all cool, brother. That is fucking post-sexual revolution, hippie, dippy, free love, boomer bullshit is what it is. I'm Gen X. I would venture to guess Dr. Glover is boomer, okay? I'm pretty confident in that. But that's what that is. That's hippie dippy key party swingers Studio 54 bullshit. Yeah, you got to. Jealousy is an insecurity, man. Well, we don't need a contract to prove our love. Get the fuck out of here. I don't need a marriage certificate. What? In fact, even marriage is just a formalization of monogamy. So to say that you're married means you in some way believe in monogamy. Well, we're going to get married. Why? Well, we're going to be a joining of partners for life mates for life. Why would you be married? Like, if you're in an open relationship, why? Why not just say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm out. You're out. Let's just go fuck who we're going to fuck. We'll live in the same place. I'll take care of you. I'll pay your bills. It's fine. We can still hang out. But I'm going to fuck this chick over here and you can go fuck that dude over there. And that's just how we're going to arrange our quote unquote marriage. It's not really a marriage. I mean, I like you. I take care of you. I still care about you like I do anybody else. But like when it comes to fucking, we're all going to fuck whoever we want to fuck. He doesn't even do that. She gets to go fuck and he gets to sit there like.
He wants the details.
I mean, how long does a guy sit in the chair? So when we're talking, you want to know why cuckold pornography right now is so popular, or hot wifing, or like interracial hot wifing, or trying to think of what the other shit is. Lifestyles. Who even knows, right? God, people kept asking me, what do you think about hot wifing? It's just a form of eroticizing jealousy, the jealousy response. And then in some cases, it's humiliation. I wonder if he's into humiliation. Oh, we need to take a ayahuasca and then we won't be humiliated, or we'll be humiliated, but we won't be shamed. What? It's just, why? Why would you be in that situation? Because you've eroticized the jealousy. So like I was saying before, you can make anything erotic. Like when guys tell me, oh, you get habituated to porn, and so that influences the way that you see other like real life women, and that's why you shouldn't watch porn, because now you can't get off to anything except for like the black guy railing the wife. Okay. Because you watch that over and over again and it habituates you, and you have, again, it's not an addiction, it's a habit, habituation. And then that's all you can get off on, right? So when you have a real woman in front of you, your wife wants to fuck you or something like that, you can't get off, or it takes you longer to get off, whatever it is. It's because what you've done is you have become, well, habituated to that kind of porn, but you've also eroticized the jealousy response. There's no jealousy response when you're having sex with your wife. There's nothing. The thing that made it taboo, the thing that made it exciting, because what you're doing is you're taking a basic instinct and you are normalizing getting on. You associate orgasm with that jealousy response. That's what it means, eroticizing the jealousy response. In fact, even Dr. Jeffrey Miller told me, well, only really super intellectual people can actually do this. You're not smart, Rollo. You're not smart enough to, like, try to tamp down your instinct, your jealousy instinct. It's like, no, I embrace it. I need that jealousy response because that's what has kept my species alive for 10,000 years and more. 100,000, 200,000 years. Jealousy is a feature. It is not a bug. But if we can take that and eroticize it, anything can become normal. Like even that revulsion response, like when you see a dead body or you see feces, like the guys who are like people who are into that kind of porn, like, ugh, right? But they get off on that. There's a niche for that. There's a niche for like pissing on people. There's a niche for all that stuff. There's a niche for everything. What is it, like Rule 34? Am I right about that? Rule 34, right? There's a niche pornography for everything. And why? Because what you do is like that revulsion response, that's just like jealousy, that has served our species well. If you can turn that revulsion into eroticize that, anything can become normal. Anything. Asphyxiation. Fucking like scat porn, fucking pissing on you. I'm going to piss on you porn. Where the fuck is that? Well, I'll tell you how you get to that is you get to that because you have eroticized your revulsion response. And getting with women who are your revulsion response might be, I don't want to see anybody fucking my wife. I'm absolutely appalled by that. Even the consideration of that. That's a revulsion response. If I can eroticize that, if I can eroticize the jealousy response, then anything goes. And the problem is now that you've conditioned yourself for that, you are at a disadvantage. You are at an evolutionary disadvantage because the kid that comes out of that out of your whore wife, it is probably not yours. And you will probably be an evolutionary dead end. I mean, unless you've already had kids, but like you will most likely be an evolutionary dead end. And that's what cucks get off on. That's why they sit in the chair and watch it and jerk off, right? Sit in their fucking cage or they're jacking off to cuck porn. I can't even go in a goddamn like hotel room now without seeing there's the fucking right? chair. There's the fucking chair. Like if you own a hotel, take those chairs out. Like only put them in like certain rooms, right? Like the content rooms are on let's see, floor 16. Keep them there. Don't put them every fucking room, man. I was in Reno. In fact, I did it from the room. I like when I did my live stream when I was in Reno on that Sunday. Like, I'm not going to sit in the chair. I'm not going to sit in the chair. I'm not going to sit in the chair. I'm going to sit in this desk chair. I'm not going to sit in the cuck chair. God, I can't stand. Yeah, it was in the background. God. There it is. I think I even pointed it out.
Want me to pull up this chair right here?
Yeah, put that one over. No, that's not a cuck chair. That's just like a office chair. It has a certain style to it. It's like it swoops down. You put it in the background. There we go. Here's the cuck chair. Here's the cuck chair. We have a cuck chair in Red One Studios. Yes, we do. God, I'm going to sit in that on Wednesday, and I'm going to think that now. Thanks a lot. Sorry, I got all tied up. Yeah, hotels are going to start doing that. Here's the cuck room. Jesus Christ. But that's what it is. It's eroticizing the jealousy response. And that's that is as far from red pill as I think you can get. I mean, the whole thing about bonobos, and I mean, I know he didn't say bonobos, but really that's where that comes from. Oh, it's just this free love bullshit. Again, would you like me to go over, let's see, the licking the ice cream thing? Like people think that there's some sort of like contradiction between the red pill talking about non-exclusive dating, which is basically what I don't know why you have a problem with either one of those things, because here you are, Dr. Glover, living in a situation where it's open on her end and it's closed on your end. You're the monogamous one. She's the one spinning plates. Is that not analogous to what you think the red pill is like preaching? You're actually living out the monogamy and the promiscuity. Well, she's living out the promiscuity. You're living out the monogamy. Seems to me like that's a fucking dead end. And then on top of that, you're in the monogamy and you get off on the stories that she's, why didn't you tell me? I get off on listening to you fucking other guys. Because he's eroticized the jealousy response. That's why. Or he's no longer revolted or revulsion response. Right? That's why, like, the funny thing is like, there are guys, and maybe this is a testosterone thing. I think this is a testosterone thing. I think guys who are low T are much more ready. They're much more comfortable with eroticizing the jealousy response, because on some level of consciousness, I think they realize that they are like sort of like genetically inferior. And I don't mean that in the eugenicist way. I think it's just like a bigger, badder bull comes in and fucking rails your wife. It's never some weesh ass little emo kid that's fucking your wife. It's always some big black bull guy that's like nailing your wife. That's why
submission.
That's why. Well, I mean, people are, wait, I didn't like that. That's why I threw this out there, because I knew it would fucking agitate. People hate that shit, man. They hate what I told you I'm going to step on toast today. I'm sorry. And again, am I saying that this is exactly what's happened? I don't know, but like in cuckold porn, it's not some weedy little guy with your barista or the guy who made your fucking sandwich at Sprouts, right? It's not that guy that's fucking your wife. It's fucking Tyrone who's fucking your wife. That's what eroticizes the jealousy response. Why? Because you're a genetic dead end. You go extinct and Tyrone breeds, and you're basically getting off on the idea or on the erotic fantasization of you going extinct. That's what it comes down to. You're going to go extinct and he's going to breed. And guess what? You're going to go and raise his kid. And you're okay with that. That's part of the fantasy. Whether it's real or it's not, that's part of the sexual fantasy. God, Coral Osborne is just going to fucking have a field day with this. I'm sorry, Coral. I'm sorry. When I have you on and we have that interview, that interview that you owe me, she was like, are you going to talk about my sexual fantasies that I write about on Substack? I said, I'm not going to talk about anything you don't want to talk about. Right. But rest assured, we're going to talk about this subject. I guarantee you that. So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. It's all about eroticizing the jealousy response. It's all about eroticizing the revulsion response. Anything can become hot. Anything can become normal. And I say this because, this is my pet theory. I'm not saying this is gospel. I'm not saying that this should be written in stone or I did any research on this, but I'm of the opinion that the eroticization of that, or the revulsion response, talking about the revulsion response, anything can become normal. That's why guys have fetishes. Women rarely have fetishes. And if they do have fetishes, it's because they learned that fetish from another guy. They go, oh, that's kind of hot. Foot fetish. Like to this day, I have no earthly idea why any guy would find feet sexually arousing. And I know Chinese people do. Like they like little teeny tiny feet on their girls. Like, so they would wrap them up in these little teeny tiny, like break their fucking feet so they would be smaller. Right? What on earth would make that like hot? I don't get it. I also, maybe it's just me. I don't know. I just also don't get why the brothers like big asses. I don't get it. ICE can take all of the illegal immigrants except the big booty Latinas. I keep seeing that meme, right? I'm like, why? I just don't like. I like big butts. I don't understand. Beyond, I'm not saying you guys don't. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying I don't understand the eroticization of like huge asses, or Brazilian butt lifts. to like extreme ones. And Lord knows we've had at least 2 girls on here who have had Brazilian butt lifts that are like, I mean, like, whomp. Like, who's getting off on this? It's clearly not the girls. Like, oh, we have China Asian doll or Asian Barbie.
Yeah.
China. Well, she goes by China doll too. Gigantic hooters, but she's got if she just stopped there, perfect. But she's got the Brazilian butt lift, and it's like the butt lift from hell, man. It is like over the top circus butt, right? I was like, holy shit. And I love her to death. She's sweetest little girl. She doesn't understand a lick of English, but she like laughs and stuff like that. And she's cute as fuck. But holy shit, like why? Well, some guys, that's their fetish. That's their thing. They have eroticized, I don't know, gigantic butts for whatever reason. I happen to like a good Cranston. You know what a Cranston is?
Nope.
You ever heard it referred to as a Cranston? That's basically thigh gap. We call it thigh gap, but it's called a Cranston, and we always like measure the Cranston, right? Thigh gap. That's the measure of the girl in my book. Coral. Love me a spinner. Do you know what a spinner is? Have you ever? Am I aging myself by saying spinner? You do still know what a spinner is? Spinner around. Cowgirl. Reverse cowgirl. That's a spinner. Okay. Like so thin and so small that you could break her in half, but you're never going to do that because you love her like hell. I mean, you know, tits are nice, but I've never been like I've never been Mike Sartain, but I'll just say. So anyway, those are fetishes, right? And then somebody's fetish might be your wife getting fucked by some other dude. Some other fetish might be BDSM, another one I don't understand, right? Or I know Domo. Domo is she's been on our show a million times. She does financial domination. What the fuck?
That's crazy.
That is above my pay grade. I would never. I'm sorry. Revulsion. I could never eroticize that. Here's my ATM card, and my password is, it's. Why? What? Like, I can't understand. Or like why guys would want to be put in like a dog cage.
Yeah, that's crazy. All that.
I don't. Apparently, that's some kind of fetish that you have to get over. All right, let me get to these super chats. I still have to do Sadia Khan. Hang on, I got 10 minutes to do Sadia. Let's jump through these. Siege, shout out to Sartain and his narcissistic tweets that got a lot of attention on X. Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't it get him? It's better to be called a narcissist instead of a good man nowadays. Yeah, well, if a woman, what you're referring to is the tweet he threw out there. If a woman refers to you as a narcissist, that means she likes you. Boy, I got a lot of chicks that like me. There's a lot of chicks that like me. If that's the case. Sanchez, bagging Bezos is far more impressive than Theron with a 26-year-old. Yes, I 100%. Thank you for that $20 super chat. 100% agree with you. Are these still working? No, they're not. What's the next one? The next one is, if Mother Nature loved that, then she's a sadistic. She's sadistic for giving you STDs and jealousy. Yeah, because Mother Nature doesn't love that. As I said, that's a natural instinct that you are eroticizing because it gets you off more. Okay. I think maybe that's like the appeal of, bondage at least. You know, like, I mean, it's an art form. Like to tie a chick up and like hold it, like hang her from the ceiling or some shit like that. What are you going to do? Like, I don't understand that. Like, what are you going to do with that? But I think maybe it's the helplessness, right? It's the you can't get away. I've got you tied up in so many knots. There's no way you can get away. Or like I would never do this, but I know like guys like to like put handcuffs on their chicks when they're banging them or something like that, or soft cuffs or whatever. Or they like, you know, cuff them spread eagle to the bed or something like that. It's like, is it like you're powerless? Is it a power thing? I think maybe
it's a power thing.
That might be it. It might be a power thing there.
How dare you?
Yeah, money for the coffers. Thank you very much. Your medical issues. We need you back at your full strength. God, I wish I would. It took me. I have gabapentin. I got gabapentin. Shit. I got it. He's drug seeking. You're goddamn right. I'm drug seeking. It fucking hurts like fuck. The only thing that works, the only thing that works is gabapentin. It's not like anything else. And Lord knows I tried. And it's please don't tell me I need to smoke pot or do edibles or have CBD. That shit does not do a goddamn thing for this kind of pain. Yeah, thanks. Oh, give me your vaping thing. Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Sir Mr. Jason. I could use everything. Is Robert Glover senile? Taking the Joe Biden blue pill? I don't know. I think he's kind of always been like this, but I could be wrong. I don't really pay attention to. The only reason I paid attention to him is because people kept throwing this in my inbox, and he's he's talking about spinning plates. He doesn't even understand what spinning plates is. Spinning plates is just like dating non-exclusively. I need to do a whole nother show dedicated to spinning plates. Maybe I should do a midweek show about like basics and just do a half an hour show. Okay, we're gonna talk about spinning plates today, guys. Yeah. Okay, throw that out. This one. Also, Siege D. Recent Substack. Great recent. Yeah, I did a pretty good. This is a pretty sizable one too. That's going to be a chapter in the book. If you're curious as to like what I am doing as far as book 6, which is going to be Reignite. Again, it interlocks what have been separate concepts up until right now. So it's more like I would say Reignite is, if I had to like describe it in like one sentence, I'd say it connects concepts in a holistic way. I think that red pill concepts in a holistic way can be discouraging at times, but your article on leveraging hypergamy and evaluating yourself and women was very helpful. Definitely worth it. Thanks. Yeah, please subscribe to my Substack. You can do so. The link is right fucking there. That's all you got to do. And it's cheap. It's like, what do you spend on coffee in a month? I'm only asking $9.99 a month. That's a pretty decent ask. Off topic, Rolo, what's your stack? Appreciate you. What's my stack now? Do you want me to tell you? I should do that sometime. I should come clean about my hormone optimization therapy. Should do that. I'll tell you what my stack is once the shingles pain goes away, because part of my stack is gabapentin at this point. Like every single day. Gabapentin works. Let's see, what can I say legally right now? I don't want to go too far. Yeah. Clenbuterol, I can talk about that. That's a cutting agent, but I do that with Yohimbe, so I don't get the freaking John wobbles every time I do that. God, I hate clenbuterol by itself. Cialis is part of that, and not just to get your dick hard. Cialis is good for a pump. That is a trade secret amongst bodybuilders today. Here's the easy way. Go look up Todd Lee MD. That's my stack right there. Todd Lee MD, look him up on, at Todd Lee MD on Instagram. Follow him. Follow Todd. He's fucking great. Dude plays Warhammer 40,000, plays Space Marine 2, plays in a metal band, talks about metal shit now and then, and is into a lot of the same shit that I am. What else is he into that I'm into? Like he knows his lore, man. He talks about like Korn and Slanesh and all this other shit. It's fucking great. A sexually liberated tribal society can't exist. Yeah. Because all the women get with one or two of the men and the rest just leave. Yeah, that's basically primate society. Is there's one alpha male, and that alpha male gets with his harem, when they are in estrus. So the odds are that the babies are going to be his. That's not to say that the beta males in the troop, in the gorilla troop, the chimp troop, the bonobo troop, that's not to say that the betas don't get laid. They do, but they have to do it for services rendered. They have to pick enough fleas off of the female. They got to offer enough bananas. They got to babysit the children. They got to babysit the offspring of the alpha and take care of his offspring while she's in estrus and goes fucks the alpha again. Then when she's not in heat and she's not in her proliferative phase of her, I think it's probably similar. That's when he can fuck her. That's when the beta males can fight. And the beta males are still useful in the tribe. They're just there to sort of, keep things going. Now, I want to also point this out because I meant to get to this. Rob Henderson has been throwing this out and has been talking about how, and this always happens when Trump is in office or they want to make an example of a quote unquote alpha male, right? Well, they'll say, well, in primate troops, whether it's chimpanzees or usually it's gorillas, right? There'll be the beta males who will form a coalition to bring down the alpha male if the alpha male doesn't do what they say. That happens all the time. And that's why the alpha male will bully and beat up on the beta males, because it keeps the beta males from organizing and taking him down. So there's two ways that an alpha male primate is taken out of position, right? One, another bigger, badder alpha male comes in and says, I like your bitches, I'm going to kill you. And he dies, or he's run off from the tribe, or run off from the troop, I guess is what the proper terminology would be. And then so he's run off. And now what happens is that alpha male goes in and kills all of the offspring of his rival, of the previous alpha. He goes in and he kills all of them. What that does is it has the effect of sending all the females into estrus. They get hot. They want to fuck the alpha male gorilla, chimpanzee, bonobo. They want whoever the new leader is. They get. I know it sounds savage, and it is, but it's infanticide. He goes and kills off as many as he can figure out, whether it's by smell or whatever. He already knows. He hasn't fucked any of these of his harem, his new harem yet. So he goes and it's infanticide. He goes and kills off all of the previous rivals' offspring, which has the effect of sending the girl apes into estrus. They have his babies and they start it over again. The second way this happens is that the beta males in the troop, and Rob Henderson is all over this, and a lot of other people have said this. Well, if you're not careful, the beta males will organize and they'll form a coalition. And what they'll do is they'll go and they'll beat up and tear that monkey limb from limb, which is true. That will happen. If the alpha male doesn't bully them well enough, they form a coalition. They come and they just fight this guy and they tear him limb from limb. And so what happens is that's where they leave it. They say, okay, yeah, that's what happens. You got to be careful, man, because beta males together, apes together strong. They come and they're going to depose you, Trump. All these beta males, if we get together and we organize, we're going to bring you down. Same thing with them. This happens with the monkeys. Happens with the gorillas. Happens with the chimps. But they don't tell you what happens after that. You know what happens after that? The most alpha monkey of that troop that brought down the coalition that brought down the previous alpha, he becomes the new alpha. And the shit starts over again. And what does he do? He goes and he kills off all the offspring of the previous alpha, and then he fucks all his new harem. He becomes the new alpha. That's how it works. It doesn't just stop there and we're all just happy egalitarian fuckwits. No, what happens is the most alpha of that beta male troop steps into the role of being the new alpha. And you start it all over again. That's how it happens. And then they go into estrus after the females go into estrus, and we go right back to the same society. It starts over and over and over again. And that's how it works. Same thing happens in human society. Rob Henderson's tell them the truth or don't fucking say it at all. Tell the whole truth or don't say it. I'm so fucking sick of, we're just going to leave it at that. Oh, this is what's going to happen to you. The beta males are going to take you down. Yeah. And then the most alpha of those motherfuckers, he's going to be the new alpha. That's how it works. That's patriarchy. Sorry to say. That's how it works. There's going to be a new patriarch. The patriarch is the alpha male, and he has a responsibility to the tribe. They're very clear in that. Because if he's not living up to expectations, the beta males are going to form another coalition. They're going to take down that motherfucker. And now the best of them is going to step into that role. And it starts all over again. That's how it works. Say the whole truth or don't say it at all, you motherfucking liars. My girl can get off just by thinking. Really? By thinking about you? Yeah. I don't have it now. I don't have I got to put the taboo music on here. I haven't put that on yet. For a matriarchy to exist, you would need an enforcement mechanism to keep all the unwanted men contributing. And how do you deal or do that without men? Exactly. Well, that's the thing is the problem with the reason why matriarchy has never been a thing. Like people will say, well, on the in Ireland or some shit like that, or in Gaelic societies, there used to be a matriarchy or something like that. It never really stood for very long. I'm not saying that there haven't been matriarchies, but they've always been in a tribal sense, and they've always been kind of in our past, and nobody really remembers anything. They've never done anything great, right? There's never been any great innovations or inventions, or even like, you know, I don't know, movers and shakers, right? There's never been acts of war from matriarchy. I mean, maybe there's been like defense. Like people want to say like they love the Wonder Woman fantasy where like what Diana is part of the Amazons and we're a matriarchy and men are beneath us. And the Isle of Lesbos, you know, there's Amazons on the Isle of Lesbos, and that's where it comes from. Yes. No, it's like, okay, show me a matriarchy. Show me a successful matriarch. Show me what they built. Did they build a watch? Did they create an aqueduct? Like what have they done? The reason why you can't do that is because there's never been any real true matriarchy. But why is that? Because society is organized, but it's organized downstream from biology. Even in a matriarchy, men are still more physically dominant than women. They have 99% more upper body strength. You can control them by like psychologically, you know, manipulating them, which is essentially is what we're doing right now in a gynocentric social order. Men are like way more powerful than, like, I hate to jump on this train, but men are way more powerful than women even in this society. It's just the fact that we've been like sort of trained and conditioned not to think that way. That's why the red pill is so threatening to a gynocentric social order, because it opens up men's eyes, as I keep saying over and over again. It's in every single one of my books. Why do my eyes hurt? Because you've never used them before. That's a line from The Matrix, if you didn't know. I use that on every single book because that was part of my signature when I was a moderator on So Suave. Why do my eyes hurt? Because you've never used them before. That's the thing is like you're realizing what your real true power is, and you're realizing why you've been marginalized for so long, because you need to be controlled. That's why you want to know why testosterone levels are like what they are right now? What is it? I saw this today. Is like the average man today, average young man today has less testosterone than a 70-year-old in the 1970s or something like that. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I have to look that up on Perplexity, but I'm pretty sure that it's a lot lower than it was back in the day. So your grandfather or your dad or whoever probably had more tests than you did. Why is that? And why do we care? Like, why are we worried about like what my gear is? Why are we worried about like TRT? Like Mike Sartain thinks TRT is going to be outlawed pretty soon. And I'm actually beginning to understand why he says that. Because it's dangerous. I've heard people say that testosterone is the most dangerous chemical compound on planet Earth. And you're right. It is. Deal with it. Oh, men are more violent. Men are more prone to, you know, acts of violence. Yes, we are. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Oh, you know what the number one killer of women is? Yes, it's heart disease, dumb fuck. What is the number 12? Men. Thank you. You know, it's funny. Accidental death actually outranks like women being killed by men. But who is the number one victim of violence? It's other men, by the way. Men kill other men way more than they kill women. I'm just, you know, like before we start talking about how men kill women, can we like talk about who's more homeless, who suicide rates, military service, on work death, or, you know, worksite deaths, more dangerous jobs? Can we talk about those things first before we start saying you're a dangerous man? Didn't you know that child marriage? I saw this video recently about some chick who was like saying, well, you know, if you have a problem with all men are, then you should know that 36 states in the United States still have child marriage is legal. I'm like, is that true? I looked that up on Perplexity. It is true. It's absolutely true, but it's only true in certain cases. Like if there's a pregnancy between two 16-year-olds, they'll let them get married. It only happens in very rare fucking cases. Well, should it be outlawed? Maybe, but there's a reason why it hasn't been outlawed is because of situations like that. But what she's implying is that there are like, I don't know, Muslim men who are like 60 years old marrying 12-year-old daughter brides or some shit like that. It's like, that's so far from the fucking truth. It's like, it's disingenuous. But welcome to the fucking social media age, right? What do you got for matri? Okay, that was a matriarchy. You can't do matriarchy now. Two types cucks. One is gratification, Jack Murphy, I was going to say, and one is for emotional support, vis-a-vis love, Dr. Glover. Yeah, I was going to say the thing is like, I think people have an image of Dr. Glover as being sort of like this psychologist, celebrity psychologist. It's really pop psychology, but I don't think people really understand enough. Like people say, well, didn't he write No More Mr. Nice Guy? Isn't that a red pill staple? It used to be, but again, he's kind of like thrown the red pill. I don't even know if he was even trying to, but he's kind of thrown the red pill under the bus. And the last video and this last, whatever his new program series is, it's basically shitting on the red pill as advertising. And essentially he's giving you a program on how to be a cuck. I mean, that's what I gathered from that video. Why would you consider a man not wanting his girlfriend or wife to go social dancing with other men, salsa swing, etc., an overactive jealousy response? No. Do you think that her wanting to do that is acceptable in an exclusive relationship? No. Again, no. If this is what's your name? Watasian? If that's your situation, why are you not her first priority? Why doesn't she want to go salsa dancing with you? That's the whole thing. You need to ask. See, the thing is like people give me these specific questions, and thank you for that super chat. But they give me these specific instances, and I have to go back to the basics. Why does she want to do that? Hey, Rolo, my girl wants to go to Vegas for a Vegas weekend, and they're going to go watch, I don't know, Magic Mike. And they're going to watch Thunder from Down Under or whatever. Should I let her go? Yeah, you should. But the first question you need to ask yourself is, why does she want to go? Why is going off and doing that seem like a better prospect than sitting with you and hanging out with you and going on a date with you and fucking you on a weekend? Why is that not a better prospect than her going to Vegas with her girls? That's what you need to ask yourself. And the answer is she has no genuine natural desire for you. So you let her go, and then you change the locks on your house and you put all her shit on the sidewalk. Yeah, you can go, but you can't come back here. That should be, I mean, if you want to add that, that's fine. You can go do what you want to, but you're not going to do it in my house. There. Owen Cook, infield, player versus beta male, shame modern women in 4K, and Evo Psych versus 2025 Cuck gurus. The death of infield made way for shit. Okay, thanks, Did You Know, man? I haven't seen that one. I'd like to check that. I know that video is out there. Women are the more perverted gender into BDSM, role play, CNC, consensual, non-consensual. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Especially women around your age, my age, who are always ready. Yeah. I think that's true, Dark Knight Dev. I think you're probably right about that. But honestly, I think they need a man to introduce them to that particular thing. And then they find out that they really like it. Although I will say probably there is, if women fantasize or have, I don't say fetish, but I think, because I don't think there is fetishes for women. I think that it's just expressed in different ways, like the desire to have, to be like consensual, non-consensual. Like I need my safe word, you know? Like women want to have that sort of dominance. They want to have that sort of role playing. But I don't think, I think if they're introduced to the behavior, I think they're introduced by a man. The man has to be the guy who's going to initiate that in the first place. And then she discovers that she really likes it. Don't you know that women are the primary victims of war? Yes. Yeah. Hillary told me that, because they lose their husbands, sons, and brothers in the conflict. Yeah. Well, again, that's passing off blame. Once again, it's the same. By the way, that's the same dynamic as that one chick who was like wanting sympathy for rejecting guys. I want sympathy for being unsympathetic. Same. Oh, and then also that goes back to what I say about what I've said in the past about what is it? Women have no problem with what is it? Cognitive dissonance. They wouldn't produce videos or produce memes or anything like that if they didn't have any problem with cognitive dissonance. Okay, last bit of business here that I got to get to. I'm going to show you something about Sadia Khan here really quick, and then we'll get out. Where is it? There it is. Sorry, I had to dig up the. This is actually an Instagram post. I'll share the screen with you just so you can get an idea. Okay. All right, Kyle, wake up. Here we go. Last one. I got to share the screen here for this one. All right. Here we go. This is from a Medium article. This is from like a guy who did this back in, I should say, this is almost a year ago. So dangerous lies. Fake psychologist Sadia Khan from falsified degrees to advocating for child marriage. Let's go. The alarming influence of a fake expert with receipts. Here's the receipts. In the digital age, social media platforms have become breeding grounds for self-proclaimed experts and influencers who wield significant power over their followers. Among these influencers, there are individuals who pose as psychologists, dispensing advice and guidance without the required qualifications or adherence to ethical standards. As I said before, Dr. Orion Taraban is an actual doctor. He has a doctorate degree in psychology, although it is from a diploma mill, and he is, I forget his particular status for his degrees, but his degree only allows him to actually practice in the state of California, because I think it's a PSY degree or something like that. I forget. Anyways, that's important to remember, because there's guys like Dr. Jordan Peterson. Dr. Peterson is a clinical psychologist. He could have a private practice now, although he probably hasn't had one for a while. One such figure is Sadia Khan, a controversial social media influencer known for her purported psychological experience and misogynistic advice to young women. Let's delve into the phenomenon of the fake psychologist influencer, examining Sadia Khan, her impact on women's mental health, and the potential long-term consequences if such practices are not curtailed. The rise of fake psychologist influencers. The internet has revolutionized access to information, but it has also blurred the lines between genuine expertise and pseudoscience. Influencers like Sadia Khan exploit social media to build large followings, often presenting themselves as experts in psychology and mental health. Yet, a closer look at her credentials exposes a disturbing lack of authenticity. The evidence presented here strongly indicates that her credentials are falsified. Who is Sadia Khan? Sadia Khan is a woman of Pakistani descent living in Dubai, a city most known for frauds and scams, whereas so long as scammers don't target the UAE locals, scammers are free to scam anyone. Also a place of residence for the Tate brothers. Khan boasts a significant online presence and claims to be a psychologist with extensive, badly photoshopped qualifications. See her degrees below. I'll show them to you in a minute. Her deeper investigation into her credentials reveals that her listed degrees and certifications are fabricated and so far unverified by the very universities she claims to have attended. All her university credentials are deeply questionable. See her degrees below. What's more bewildering, both her BSc and MSc degrees in psychology should have made her eligible for chartered membership of the British Psychological Society. Alas, not surprisingly, she is not listed in their directory, neither in any other psychologist directory in the British Psychological Society. That's basically like the AMA here, nor in the HCPC. I don't know what that is. Despite her falsified qualifications, Khan has amassed a substantial following, particularly among young women seeking guidance and support, and a naive, indoctrinated male audience who subscribe to the red pill ideology. This is one of the reasons why I keep saying we need better representatives for the red pill. You want to know why I'd have nothing but contempt for Pearl? It's because she's basically pulling the same bullshit here. Khan's background is complex, revealing. We can deduce from her own words about her origins, growing up in a culture where arranged marriages, often more akin to forced marriages, are prevalent, and would have witnessed female family members being married off to much older men from Pakistan. It is highly likely that these practices not only shaped Khan's worldview, but also reinforced within her the same deeply ingrained sense of entitlement that men from her cultural background hold towards young women. I think that's kind of a stretch. Her family or her family's origins in POK, I don't know what that is, a region of the notable representation with notable representation in troubling crime statistics and history of problematic practices in the UK. Most likely played a significant role in shaping her views on relationships, her position as a woman, and the roles and facades she must assume to survive in her world, a reality far removed from the one experienced by most women in the West. Okay, yeah, I get it. I think it's really more opportunism, and she's like latching onto a red pill. Khan has spoken about working as a teacher in a troubled UK school, also unverified. See her degree for teaching QTS below. While expressing great dissatisfaction with her low-wage job, but we don't know anything else about her job history, and since her professional background seems also falsified. Who is Khan really? Is even Sadia Khan her real name? Is Khan just another Khan? It certainly seems so. According to many influencers in the red pill community, in her beginnings, she sought to gain exposure by reaching out to them consistently for at least a year, eventually securing an interview with the notorious Andrew Tate, currently in legal proceedings for human trafficking, rape, and forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women. I don't think it was that. I think it was to launder money. But Khan's interactions with these shady internet figures, along with her controversial statements, among other issues that follow her, have earned her the reputation of clout chaser. Khan also faces criticism for being a grifter, given her practice of charging $50,000 for speaking engagements and 550 Great British pounds for 50 minutes online therapy calls, grossly misrepresenting academic qualifications. Her critics contend that her exorbitant fees, shameless self-promotion, and lack of credentials call her credibility and so-called expertise into question. And I couldn't agree more. This pattern of changing exorbitant fees without any qualifications to nothing more than snake oil sales, raising serious concerns about her motives and legitimacy of her influence. Khan's profile on All American Speakers, despite portraying herself as a success story emerging from a traditional Muslim background, a narrative that intrigues most of her naive Western audience, her personal and cultural history tells a different tale. In her culture marked by rigid expectations and arranged marriages at an early age, the reality is that Khan remains an unmarried, middle-aged woman with no children, floating through various men's podcasts without achieving the societal success typically valued in her own community. Ironically, she preaches to young women the very ideals she has not attained herself. The societal success typical of her valued community. Okay, I got that. Oh, however, it also could be argued that she has strategically targeted young men in red pill communities online. That I agree with. Reaping the substantial profits at the expense of young girls and women's well-being by peddling a carefully crafted message while posing as a mental health professional, Khan has taken her grift even further. Collaborating with Cosmopolitan magazine, gaining access to an entire generation of young women. Her strategized approach has quickly brought her both wealth and fame, effectively embodying the essence of con artistry and exploitation. Here we go. Here's the receipts. Sadia Khan's degrees, as posted on her website. Okay, this is of the University of London. Khan's botched and badly photoshopped degree. It is. Look at the difference between these two right here. Degree from Royal Holloway and Bedford New College. By the way, you won't find these on her you won't find these on her Instagram on her site anymore. These were on there and they've been taken off. It is missing the date. The university's name, its seal and logo, and 2007 chair of college council, Sir Andrew Burns. Signature, as you can clearly see it here from an authentic degree. Okay, we can click on that later. Posted by the university itself. Here's another. However, other falsified degrees seemingly more identical to Khan's than those posted by the Royal Holloway itself. Okay, so that's one. This is most likely a forged document here. Sadia Khan, once again, Khan's other degree lacks the date of award. Fire that guy from Fiverr. It's missing the holographic seal, degree of registry number, but her name seems to be edited in. Kind of does. Yeah, especially since it's the wrong font. Whereas in the real degree, it would be all in all caps. Also, Dr. Michael Spence joined UCL in 2021. Joined it in 2021. Is Khan claiming she received her MSc in 2021, but also she claims to have graduated from UCL in 2007. Okay. From the Center of Excellence, another institute, Khan claims to have 2 additional psychology postgraduate degrees from. However, the COE is an online private free course provider, not a higher educational institution. Even here, there are seemingly differences in font style and size from the legitimate diploma of COE. Okay, because this is where it is. This, as you can see, she's using probably, was that Avenir? Okay. Qualified teacher status, another of Khan's degrees, extra spacing between the edited name and the last name. It lacks the date of QTS, and her teacher's reference number would put her as having obtained her degree in the year 2036. Here's the legitimate one. Okay, so they showed you, they go to other ones here. All right, so who is this? This is another warning to stop emailing me. I guess he tried to reach out to her. Please feel free to keep harassing me as it will add to my case, psycho. I could care less what you talk about. You are obsessed with what I do. Okay, so she's calling her a cunt, blah, blah, blah. You're obsessed with me, blah, blah, blah. Relationship, this is what she's charging. Center of Excellence. Relationship coach, this is what she says she has. Relationship coach who has dedicated her social presence to helping individuals and couples navigate complexities in modern relationships. Okay, so I think that's good enough. All right. Bueno. All right, so I'm just throwing that one out there. As you probably have seen. There we go. All right. Okay, we're way past time. I apologize. So Sadia Khan, most likely a fraud. Like, I'm just going to go out. I feel confident enough. She's a fraud. Until she can come up with something a little bit more substantial, Sadia, you're a con. And I'm going to call you that every time Mike tries to use you as a legitimate reference. Now, here's what's going to happen. And I'm in before, okay? Here's what's going to happen. People are going to say, well, Rolla, what is she saying that's actually wrong? Nothing. But what she's saying is from a position of authority or credibility. I'm quite on. Would you like to see my degrees? I'll be happy to go give you the shots of them. I have a BFA and I have a BS in behavioral psychology. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts. I got 2. I double major. Okay. So if you'd like to see them, I'd be happy. It's very easy for me to show them to you. But the fact is, I don't rely on those credentials for my legitimacy. I don't have if anything, I need an English degree. I need a degree in publishing. I need a degree in authorship because that's what I do. So if it takes a degree in English to write a book, then I guess I'm fucked. But I don't really rely on that. I just write what I write. Okay. I'm an author, more or less, more than less, let's just say. But I'm just saying that if she's going to go and share the stage with Dr. Orion Taraban, you better have a fuck. Like, you'll notice that she never introduced, like, even if you go and you look at the the Soft White Underbelly interview with both Taraban and Sadia Khan, she never calls herself doctor, but she's supposed to be a doctor. She's like, those documents were saying that she was a doctor. Dr. Sadia Khan? No, she's not. She doesn't have it. That's, by the way, that's like stolen valor. That's like me saying, like, oh, I'm Captain Rolla Tomasi. I was in the U.S. Air Force and I flew KC-157s in the Air Force, and I was a navigator. Imagine me saying shit like bullshitting you like that. That's pretty much the same thing. It's stolen valor, and the more you watch her and the more you give her credibility, it's stolen valor. I was you know how like people like, oh, I'm going to put a pronoun, like my pronouns in my bio.
Yeah.
You can call me Professor Rollo. That's I answer to Professor and Dr. Rollo.
I usually put Apache helicopter.
Yeah, there you go. Or Captain, Admiral Rollo. I answer to Admiral. and Rollo. Those are my 2 pronouns. Why not? Well, that's stolen valor. Well, yeah, because I'm relying on credibility that I want you to refer to me as maestro, maestro, master, Rolo Tomase, sensei, MZ, right? You should refer to me ustedes.
Maestro.
Yes. Okay, so Lord Emperor, yeah, God Emperor of man. I'm the master of mankind, and God Emperor will do. Thank you. Those are my two pronouns. I gotta put those in my bio now. So, yeah, so she's lying about her credentials. It's stolen valor. It's just as legitimate as me saying I'm the God Emperor. Yeah, there you go. Gringo Rolo. Yes. Yeah, here they come. I'm Sifu. What else is there? Lord Emperor. Yes. There you go. Okay. Let me reset this because I can't get the fucking. Why do I have to keep doing this for us? We have to figure this out, Kyle.
Might be just the cord.
It might be the cord. Got it. I know maybe it's too long. Wait.
Oh, those guys are back.
There you go. Okay. All right. Last thing. Last licks. If you've got a super chat you were dying to send, do it now because I'm out of here in 2 minutes. Let's see. Okay. So, anyways, yes, please call me Lord Emperor. Reignite. Make sure if you're interested, again, you don't have to be a member, but it'll cost you $9.97 to do it. And that's pretty fucking low, man. You should be charging like $15.97 for this. You get me. I'm gonna be talking about how to curate your Instagram and how to use Body app and Face app. Those are my specialities. And if you have any questions, like if you really want to get one-on-one with me, like face-to-face with me, that's $9.87 is a freaking, like, I'm not charging you $50,000 like fucking Sadia Khan on the phone. You could just pay $9.97 and see me live in real time in Las Vegas of all places. So how cool is that? Come check us out. And Joe Marron will be on there too. Oh, dude, thank you for my $50,000 speaker fee. Yes, there you go. $50,000. Such a deal. Such a bargain. For you, only one money. Okay. Let's see. Yes, I do. Rolo's always giving more attention to his haters. But did you learn something? Did you learn about jealousy? Did you, like, I use my haters, motherfucker. I use them. They're like my vehicle. They're like Taco Bell and hot sauce. The hot sauce, the Taco Bell is just the vehicle for the hot sauce. I am the fucking hot sauce.
They're the platinum.
Diablo hot sauce. What would Lord Corn put on his Taco Bell? Diablo hot sauce. There you go. Okay. I have no Diablos. I don't get it. Wait.
God wants you to have the baby.
Definitely not.
They're finally working now. Okay. Anyways, that's it for today. Dude, if you want to join Reignite, do so. If you just want to come and hang out with me, it's August 12th through the 15th. There's going to be more than just like fucking around. We're actually have like, we're going to be probably do stuff in here as well. If I have, let's see, that's a Wednesday. If there is actually if we have an Access Vegas, you're more than invited to come and be an in-studio audience of Access Vegas. Lord knows Mike brings his immersion guys in here. I can bring my Reignite guys in here. So if that's what you want to do, we're on. Don't forget Access Vegas on Wednesday. We are fucking monetized.
Well, I'm a whore.
All right. And we're going to have this chick.
I feel like I just took a bath in battery acid.
Yeah, Tiffany Fox will be on the panel if I can make it happen. Love you. He only hangs out with whores and whores. Yeah. Whores and strippers. Hookers and blow. That's me. That's all I do. All right. So thank you for that. You know, like I do use my haters. I love my haters. Are you kidding? What would I do without you? I wouldn't be able to teach as effectively if I didn't have those haters. I wouldn't be able to tell you about jealousy. I wouldn't be able to tell you about revulsion. What have we learned? What have we learned, children? We've learned a lot today. I've gotten to nothing but nuts and bolts today. And I used Dr. Robert Glover to do so. And I'll use anybody. I'll use Jack Murphy. I'll use his dumbass. I'll use Destiny if that's the case. I will use whoever I want. Wait a minute. Hold on. These are so cool. I love these new ones. please like and subscribe to this channel. That is gay as fuck.
Gay!
I got to do a new one. I got to do a new gig. It's basically just a GIF. I'll figure it out. But I'm glad Substack stays on top of it, or not Substack. What is it? StreamYard stays on top of their shit. I will never leave you, StreamYard. I love you. Okay, that's it. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Kyle, thank you for producing. Thank you for sticking in there. I will see you guys next week. But actually, I will see you on Wednesday, Access Vegas on this channel, on Access Vegas, on Mike's channel, and on our Rumble channel. So we're going places. We're finally out of jail, and we can get back into it. So please watch any one of those channels. Watch this one. Okay. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Oh, those guys are back!
Would you do it again? I need to feel you on top of
Bye, Felicia.
It was my first time, but I was just a kid when we met and went.
All right.
What do you expect from me? I'm breaking up the rules now in the game. I've got some new tools. Please do the same.
I prefer a good cigar and a bad woman.
Now we're fucking in the bathroom, tearing up everywhere while I got your hair. Why you screaming my name? She was swinging in the bed.
That's nasty. It is nasty, right? Isn't it nasty? Ugh.
Well, I'm a whore.
Run me up and down like a pony. Turning up my song, getting nasty. Working up and down on your body. Run me up and down like a pony. We'll get down to it all night. But maybe we can fuck again. And maybe things we did for Goddamn, baby. No, we're never gonna score. We're never gonna score. And maybe we can fuck again. And maybe things we did for Goddamn, baby, one more again.
The City Podcast has been a production of the Rational Mail. All rights reserved. Registered trademark 2025. And don't steal Ned stuff.
No, you're wrong.
Hello there, children. How's it going?
You lose! Good day, sir!
God wants you to have the baby.
Definitely not.